Afternoon or good evening. Welcome to the Mech Warrior Championship Series. Where we're at the grand final, the big granddaddy of them all. Today I have with me Mr. G-Ram and Mr. Teos. How are you, lads?
Oh, it's great to be here, Ash. I'm pretty excited for this cast. Both these teams have shown what they're made of already, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna show in the grand final here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I am 100% ready to rock and roll here. Look, I'm excited. I think after what did we see last time these two teams played was an extremely solid set. I think some of the best finals games that I've ever casted by far, with DSE pulling all sorts of little great researched and science strategies out. But are they going to do it today? And what do they got left? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I mean, two best of sevens is a tall order, but they definitely showed that they can take drops off this team. So it'll be interesting to see what else they have in the tank as far as creative energy, how fancy they're going to get with it, or maybe they'll play more solid strats. I have no idea. Mm-hmm. Same with Vile side. I mean, you have two best of sevens to work with. You can kind of go outside the box a bit and not be scared, because even if you go down a couple drops, even if you do lose that first best of seven, you have that second one. So really, both teams have nothing to hold back. Like, they have no reason not to just throw everything at the wall if they think it could be good.
I do have to admit, though, DSC tried a lot of, or not tried, they brought a lot of interesting strats, like the Bear Claw one sitting on top of the map in order to deny caps at the back of the map, of which, if you haven't seen the match, the VOD is on the MWO Comp or MWO League's YouTube channel. Everybody who has not seen that match should view it after this stream is over, just because it's truly insane. But I'm kind of curious to see if DSC will sort of stay trying to think outside the box, or every now and then you have teams go, okay, we tried a lot of weird stuff and it didn't pan out. Maybe we just stick to what's tried and true, and not try to be as extravagant, I guess. I don't know. You guys know what I mean.
Yeah. It's gonna be up to the teams what they want to do. I mean, either way, I think you should just take what you think you're most confident in. But having that cushion, if you're in Vile's seat, is definitely it's a confidence booster.
It's a good confidence booster. And we do know that teams have definitely been practicing this week and last week. Like, there's no doubt about it. You've been helping, I've been helping, everyone's been helping all the various teams and bits and pieces and plugging in everywhere. So I'm ready. They're ready. Maybe we talk some statistics while we are waiting, because we still do have about 15 minutes before we'll get the teams into the lobbies here. But we have a lovely stat page now, which has a lot of stats in it now that we've actually got to the end of the season, end of the competition.
Yeah, so I just pulled it up here, and I'm just looking at the base statistics for CS. Not too many surprises as far as the most popular stuff for me, but yeah, Shadowcat, I think that has just grown in popularity each CS for the last, I think, 3-4 years. Well, I think that was it 22, I believe. I actually was one of the first people to start taking that favorite mech of mine. But yeah, it's grown in popularity over the years, despite the fact that I actually think it's gotten slightly worse, because there's been a couple of nerfs that have been sent its way, both indirectly and directly. The clan double one probably being the biggest one. Clan doubles having less dissipation for a mech that usually runs pretty hot weapons and can't feel a lot of heat sinks is pretty significant. But it's just such a flexible mech.
It's been nerfed, but it's also been so heavily buffed with the ability, with the mag shots, or sorry, AP Gauss and plasma cannons being added to the game. That just added a whole new loadout that blew everything out of the water. So
yeah, I kind of agree with that, but I do think the heavy machine gun nerf of old, I mean, it's been years since that, but that was probably when it was at its strongest before that, because the heavy machine guns were just so oppressive in that CS, the clan heavy machine gun specifically. But you're definitely right on the money with the AP and plasma being super super strong on it.
So does that mean that the upcoming nerfs? Don't dare I say that.
Oh no,
are we going to be weapon or chassis related? Right. Anyway, maybe we don't go down that dirty stinky path.
No cauldron discussion here.
It's already got a cooldown nerf, right?
Well, a little bit. I mean, Was it very big? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
10%?
AP definitely is a weapon that's going to be a lot better in comp than in QP because
Yeah. Yeah.
the nature of it just is so good for like skirmishing as a team and playing KG. But the mechs that want to run it, you really it's hard to fit a bunch of ammo on, which you generally need a lot more ammo for QP. Not just because there's like 12 mechs on both sides, but because you're not killing targets as efficiently as a team. So I don't think that AP is too strong from my experiences in QP, though I haven't been playing that much. But yeah, in competitive, it's like the perfect weapon to play more KG, but have the DPS to stop aggression. And we've actually seen both these teams over the year have done really just full brawl pushes. DSC actually did one against Vile in their last match and almost took it. Not quite. They got kind of kited in the final 2-on-2, but they were pretty close. And that was on Frozen City, which is it's a map known for long range trading, right? It's hard to push on that map. And I think that part of the reason why Vile was able to hold that is because the AP really gives them the extra DPS while not being, forced to brawl push themselves. Like they have the flexible builds that can both stop a push and just skirmish. We got the Viper here as well. I think that one's like been pretty solid. I think probably the reason why it's so high up as medium mech is because of the jump jets. A lot of these maps, the CS, really you need jump jets. Bog, jump jets are like a requirement. I think that on Terra, there's a lot of really cheeky spots that you kind of need to be able to jump up to. And if you can't, then it can be a problem. HPG, jump up on the wall, contest traders, or defend your traders is huge. So just those 3 maps alone kind of is going to push things as needing jump jets. And I think that's probably also part of the reason why you see so much Shacket.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious to see if we'll see any brawls here tonight. I would say Viridian Bog is probably the safest map to do a brawl push here, of which in that case, the Viper would be a very premier pick. But I think the biggest map that nobody really knows what's going to happen on is Bear Claw. Bear Claw has had just an absolute myriad of strats that every team can run, and I would say Bear Claw is less what strat you think is more effective and what strat you are just comfortable playing. But
I mean, Bear
I'm
Claw
more
is
curious
also
just because DSC.
That's true. That is so true.
it's
Yeah,
it's
you're
a
right.
pretty new map.
Mm.
Like DSC clearly showed like they played that map in a way I didn't even know was possible, right? In the last match against Vile. So like they clearly science out they're discovering stuff. There's probably more strats on there that are possible and just like nobody's thought of because it's new enough. A lot of these other maps like HPG, I mean everybody knows how to play HPG at this point, right? It's no mystery. Yeah, maybe there's a couple cheeky things you can do here and there, but overall you're not going to be like doing some insane strat that has never been seen before, most likely on HPG, like DSC did on Bear Claw. So 100% agree that Bear Claw has turned out to be a really interesting map and really gave these teams an opportunity to science stuff and really make completely new unseen strats.
We want to, with the stats here, dive into the teams slightly because we're getting to about the 10-minute mark where we need to get a little bit
Absolutely.
quickly. So I'll just change up to File and DSC for a matchup here on the specific stats page. If you want to maybe talk to the mechs, and then we can have a quick look at the maps and get started.
Yes, so I'm looking at Vile first. They only have played 12 games. Now, keep in mind, they didn't have to play an extra 1 match that DSC did because they won in the upper bracket against DSC earlier. So they have less games played, so their data is a little bit less complete, I would say. But yeah, they bring the Crusader a lot. That kind of makes sense. I mean, last year was brought a lot too. It's just there's not a lot of heavy mechs that are good, and you can actually see in the weight class distribution for both teams. Look at the heavy mechs. Vile actually is a bit higher than DSC, but it's mostly just them filling in with that Crusader. Looks like. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean,
any other
look
heavy mechs.
DSC has brought almost 0 heavy mechs. Like
3.
I mean, actually 0. They brought 3 heavy mechs in their 18 top 12 games.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That is wild to me. Because I mean,
yeah, there's just not that many good choices. Compared to the other classes.
We were talking about this earlier. Yeah, like how many are there and what are there?
Hellfire, Crusader, Nightgear are like the only ones I've seen. And I mean Hellfire in a Brawl deck, but DSC doesn't really seem to like Brawl. And even then, if you're in a Brawl deck, heavy mechs just have a weird place, just because there are mechs like the Charger and the Longbow who are 80 and 85 tons,
Yeah, it's
and it's
really
not a
hard to
far
justify.
stretch to go from a heavy mech to that.
100% agree. 100% agree. I mean, even a stalker at 85 tons is so much stronger than like a 75 tonner. Like it's not even close.
Yeah.
That's the strength of a stalker compared to like a night gear for trading. So it's really hard to justify taking a heavy mech and not upping the tonnage and lowering one of your mediums or lights, because it seems like every single tonnage bracket of medium lights is pretty solid. And which brings me to the next thing, that Flea 19 that we've seen just completely dominate the meta, and like every team is bringing it. Definitely a very interesting pick.
Kind of came out of nowhere a little bit, because we didn't see a hell of a lot of it. Well, I didn't, and I know other teams in the higher end didn't see a hell of a lot during Comp Q, and even some of the earlier finals. But it's kind of really at the other end ramping up, which is why would you think that might be? I think it's maybe more of a strat and a skill thing, as opposed to the, again, not being disrespectful to the lesser skilled teams, aka some of us too.
Yeah.
Put us in there. It wasn't definitely a mainstay mech. We used it, sure, but it wasn't in like, we need to bring it because it's really that good.
Yeah,
I think the biggest thing is that it just got heavily buffed. It got a quirk buff at the same time mag shots came out, which was a very powerful weapon pick on it. And I think it may have just taken people a while to realize that it's there.
I definitely think there's also a bit of what we were just talking about, where if you realize like, hey, we don't want to take heavy mechs, we want these assault mechs, then the 20 tonners are going to be a really tempting pick, because it gives you that tonnage to not bring heavy mechs, essentially. So it's natural that like, okay, if you want to go heavier on your bigs, then you need to go lighter on your lights. And if you compare to like 30 tonners or 35 tonners even, it's pretty strong for its tonnage. The other thing is like, we've seen a lot of lasers the last couple of years, and the fleet with its high peaking profile and the mags being, PPFLD, it's really easy to peek out, shoot, and then get back into cover and take like basically no damage from these like long laser runs of like ER large.
It has really high mounts. It's deceptively high. Like, they're all high. Really, I mean, not that the Flea's very big, but all those mags, it's the tiniest peaking profile. So that definitely plays to it for sure.
Yeah, if you're like an ER large trader, there's nothing you can do about a flea that's on a ridge, like hill peaking it. Unless you land Ghost, you're just going to get farmed and not be able to do anything about it. Like, this ER large will not do anything trying to scratch it, as it kills you there. So
any other? Sorry, yeah, go.
Another interesting thing I noticed about Vile compared to DSC, looking at their mech compositions here, is that if you look at the Stone Rhino picks, so obviously Stone Rhinos are the most used assaults on both sides. That mech has taken the comp queue by storm. It is a premier 100-tonner gunboat. I'm not gonna say it's replaced the Direwolf, because they both fill two very different roles. The Direwolf is still a very powerful ER large Gauss trader. However, where the Stone Rhino, while the Direwolf excels at extreme range, the Stone Rhino sort of makes its niche more known at like that mid range or that mid long range. Obviously, the Colossus is a very powerful brawl mech, but there are so many other good brawl picks that the Colossus isn't even the best pick for that. But one thing I want to point out though is that you can, if you look at the difference here, if you see that Vile's most used Stone Rhino, it's actually the Stone Rhino 6, the Vomit mech. Compared to DSC's most used Stone Rhinos are the 1 and the 2. In fact, if you look at their entire lineup, you see that DSC actually seems to prefer a lot more DACA than Vile. There's not a single DACA boat in Vile's top used mechs. Meanwhile, there are 2 or maybe 3 ballistic assaults in DSC's top used deck. They definitely prefer a lot more of that sustainability, a lot more of that, sustained poke and trade. But if you look at Vile's mechs, almost all their mechs are just poke once every like 30 seconds or so and then go and cool down. You see in the Battlemaster 1G, you see it. Well, I wouldn't say the Crusader. Crusader counts as a poke mech, right?
Yeah,
Got
definitely.
that ERP
Well,
with the smalls.
Depends what loadout.
Yeah, lots of loadouts on that
certainly.
one. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, Tio. So I agree for the most part. I definitely do think the Storm Rhino overall has better hitboxes than the Direwolf as far as surviving. Direwolf, it's much easier to get CT'd. But Yeah, definitely there is strengths and weaknesses of both chassis. If we have time, I do want to look at the maps real quick for both these teams, though.
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's flick to the maps very quickly so we don't drag too long. I'm sure the guys won't worry about a couple of minutes
Yeah,
delay while we're deep diving here.
So
But
real
yes,
quick,
maps.
actually, I'm going to look at the maps real quick just for everybody because
Yep.
I want to see if there's any team sides that seem really favored. So Bear Claw is actually 50-50. Frozen City Team 1 with a big advantage. I'm no surprise there. Kind of everybody knows that Team 1 has a huge advantage. HBG 37-63 is very, very interesting because that map is generally considered to be more even, but that could be a fluke. I think that I can't really think of anything that makes Team 2 significantly better than Team 1, but maybe I'm missing something.
Team
Terra,
the north side, right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting one for me though is this Terra Therma 80-20 because I actually think Team 2 is stronger, significantly stronger. So that one kind of confuses me. What do you guys think about Terra team sides?
I think that we've seen a lot of the same strat on Terra played a bunch of times where it's that Kappa Theta or that Kappa Sigma Gamma hold. Now, regardless of the validity of that strat, uh I think that everybody who's like picked that side on Terra has picked it because they want to play that strat. So if I pull up the map strat here for Terra Therma, yeah, I would say that Team 2 had a 20% win rate.
Well, I actually don't have the map strat that you guys are looking at. If you could,
I will send
like,
it to you in a. I will send it to you in a moment.
Yeah, that'd
when
be
we
great.
get started to that section, we forgot to set up the links, which I said at the start of the stream by accident.
Oh, there's always a bit of a hiccup.
You were too busy talking about the stream and getting set up for it than actually doing the setup for it.
DSC
Anyway.
actually, I'm not sure if they didn't play on Team 1, but they actually have a 0% win rate on Team 1 of Terra and 50% on Team 2, and then File winning all their maps on Terra.
Yeah, so Team 2 is the side where you've seen everybody try that Kappa Gamma Sigma hold. And what I will say is that because that's the most used strat on Terra Therma Team 2 this year, everybody has a counter strat for it. Everybody has, gone through the mindset of, if I'm Terra Therma Team 1, what do I do to stop that? And if it's the most popular strat and everybody has a counter strat for it, I think that not the strat to bring anymore. It's kind of like in previous years where Brawl was so strong, and I would say this year too. If you have a trade strat, the first thing that goes through your mind is, okay, what do I do if they run at me with Brawl?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I would probably say that's why Terra Therma skews towards Team 1 a bit. Because I mean, I'm trying to think. There have been a few one-off games that are a bit different, but
No, that makes a huge lot of sense. And honestly, I don't like that way of playing Team 2. I think it's flawed. I think it's been shown to be flawed. Everything you're saying does make sense and supports the evidence. I do think it's probably exactly what you say. It's like a strategy problem. People may be playing the map wrong.
Well, we've seen that in the games as they've evolved over the finals. Actually, like Team 2 is stronger, but now it's kind of coming back the other way, right? It's just funny how it sort of played out over the last few weeks. And Team 2, you kind of know what they're going to do, right?
I kind of look at it the same way I look at the Bearclaw strat DSC played against Vile, where on the first time you face it, you don't know how to beat it in the spot and you panic. But then the more you have time to think about it, the more you have time to science out a real counter strat, it becomes a losing game every time. I think it's a surprise strat that probably worked really well in comp queue if your opponents were not expecting it, but now that it's a well-known thing, I just don't think it has any proper staying ability.
How long do we have, Ash? We're probably about to.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the other screen here. The guys are getting a little itchy.
Map
in
bans,
the
right?
let's say
whenever
itchy,
they are
itchy in the underpants. Let's say there we go. I'm going to do it and get in trouble for that. So let's flick over to the map ban. You will just need to quickly edit your link there for you, Mr. GRAM, because we forgot to do that this morning.
Yeah,
I did mine though, so we're good. I did that while we were talking earlier, so that's okay. So let me know when you're ready, and then we'll get these guys to start banning.
See, should be.
So I've got the link in the ticket. If you just click the map ban 1 in your sources there, it'll be good to go.
Yeah, I'm looking to
Oh.
where do I put this link in? Oh no.
So just click the properties and then in the URL section, just in the top there.
Yeah,
That will sort
properties
you out.
for map band 1. Yep, okay. URL. All right,
Yep.
sick. Ash helped me out before the cast as well, getting all these overlays set up.
Oh yeah, I've had like 4 hours sleep because I stayed up real late helping you last night.
Yeah, and I
I
appreciate
don't know
that.
why I'm glad. Just like you know, I'm not the one actually streaming. I'm just feeding it for the Russian cast. I don't have to worry about overlays or anything like that. I'm just doing a
Okay, they're already
direct
they're already
output, and
into it.
that's it.
The guys are into it straight away. So Vile have Team 1 just picked Frozen City. Okay. Frozen. Let me write all
That's
this down.
interesting because Frozen is a map where the sides are so off that you typically really want to pick your side
Bog.
on that map.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
we've got Frozen, HPG, Bog. Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, Vile with Frozen City, DSC with HPG, Vile with Viridian. Now, what comes next?
Meridian, then Terra, and
Terra.
then
Ooh, Bear Claw the last. Ooh, okay. I felt like DSC would have pulled Bear Claw earlier, personally.
I
well,
believe,
the fact that DSC didn't pick it means that they want to pick the side on it.
but they don't get to. I
Yeah.
believe that it's higher
No,
C
they
gets to
don't.
choose the last. It gets to
Yeah.
choose what side they are for the last
Oh.
map, and
Yeah,
Vile is
higher
coming
C
in as higher
gets
seed.
that.
Now, I do want to note,
Mm.
if DSC wins this first best of 7, then they will be higher seed, and so when we map ban again, they will have the final pick for the.
Oh, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I just want to comment
It
though what
gets
you were saying about
it gets
Frozen.
complicated.
The Frozen thing you were talking about. After actually scrimming this last week against both these teams, I actually think that a lot of these other maps it's more important to get the side you want. As crazy as that might
Really?
sound. Yeah, I definitely think that HPG is a safe bet, and that's probably why DSC took it right away. But so I'm surprised Vile didn't take HPG first. But Bearclaw, Bog, and Terra, in my opinion, actually it's more important to get the side you want on those maps.
Bog, yes, definitely. You want to execute the strat
Vile
that
will
you
be
want.
team 1 on Frozen, and then I believe that's I can never read this right.
Yeah, no, so it's DSC is team 2. So Vile team 1 on Frozen.
That means DSC took team 2
DSC
again. They did that last time when they did that brawl push.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have someone else cooked.
No. So DSC. Sorry, let me write it. DSC team 2 for Frozen. Vile have picked team 2 for HPG. DSC have picked team 1 for Viridian. Vile have just gone and picked team 2 for Terra Firma. It's getting really complicated now. We're going to be a lot of switching. Oh goodness me.
Yeah.
It's going to keep us real
No,
busy.
it's team 1, team 2, team 2, team 2, and then what's Bearclaw going to be?
Oh, actually, no. Yeah, you're right.
I'm very surprised that DSC took team 1 on Bog. Did I hear that right?
Well, team 2, DSC on Bog have team 1. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, DSC is going to be team 2 on Bog.
I'm flabbergasted because I don't think Frozen is as important as the other maps. I think team 1 on Frozen is better, and they chose team 2. And I think on Bog, team 2 is infinitely better than team 1. Team 1 is so hard. So for them to take team 1,
Vile
DSC are team 1 on HPG, Bog, Terra, and Bearclaw.
yeah, and team 1 on Bearclaw is also, in my opinion, disadvantaged. So in my opinion, Vile has completely dominated them in the map ban. Completely.
I think we're still waiting for 2 more bans, right?
No.
No, that'll be
afterwards. We pick after we get to round 6 and 7.
Yeah, legitimate.
Oh yes.
Okay.
So it's Vile, Frozen team 1.
Yep.
DSC is on HPG team 1.
Bog as well.
Bog is team 1 for
Terra
DSC.
and Bear.
Terra's team 1 for DSC. Bearclaw's team 1 for DSC. DSC has to have something planned here because
this is pretty deliberate. This feels pretty deliberate.
I would literally pick every single side that Vile got if I could just choose, and I was playing as either of these teams.
All right. Let's go to the map strat. I've just started the timer. Let's have a look at this because something must be up here. Why would DSC want Team 1 for all of these? Now, where are we going first? We're going Frozen. I've just DM'd you the map strat links, just in case you guys don't have it. It should be okay for you, GRAM, because you're using my settings. You shouldn't have to do a thing, I just realized.
Yeah.
It makes it easy, doesn't it?
So if you look at this, though, it's a little interesting because we've seen Vile play Team 1 on Frozen so many times. And they always just run the same deck. It's a Stone Rhino 6, a Battlemaster 1G, and then usually an Executioner M. And they just sit here and just establish trade control over the whole map and then just get Gamma Theta Epsilon. Like, Vio plays this map incredibly cookie cutter, and they've never really deviated, which is why I feel like if DSC chose this, if they chose Team 2 to play into Vio's hand, I feel like they have to have a counter strat ready.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so as well. I just want to point out one of the things we didn't talk about during the map, or just the statistics. The Bull Sharks are both available for use, and the Clan and IS are considered two different chassis, which means you can bring two Bull Sharks. I think that mech is incredibly overtuned right now, and probably as strong, if not stronger than 100 tonners in general. And you're saving 5 tons when bringing it, so I expect to see a lot of Bull Sharks in this series. And I think it's pretty solid in this map too. Now.
And there's also the confusion of which bull shark are you shooting, right?
Yes,
because
100%.
Now 2 of them in a game. Who is it? Which one is it? Where is it? It's new for a lot of people that didn't give Russell their monies earlier on, right? So it's gonna get in trouble for that one.
Nah.
No, I won't. It's all right. Me and Russ are mates. So it's yes, the bull shark adds a double level complexity, and also when you think about it, you can do the Stone Rhino Daka plasma build on the bull shark with some really nice mounts. So there's also that to consider as well.
This is kind of selfish on my end, but I am kind of hoping that we see a Bull Shark 5 due to its weapon HSL. I've heard people talk about the 2 Goss, for ER large build. I just want to see if it's good. I just want to see somebody.
Let me tell you, Tios, I may have experimented with a bit. I can tell you 2 Goss for ER large is in fact good, and you can also run double light Goss and triple heavy PPC. You can fit on it as well and Pop Tart with that. And that actually is and that is actually more alpha PPFLD than I think the game has ever had. I might be wrong, but I believe the clapstick that Stim popularized was 4 ER PPC 2 light Goss, and that was 60. That what I just said, 3 heavy peep and 2 light Goss is 65, which is enough to one shot an Osiris with full front armor and full armor and structure quirks if you hit its side torso. It will one shot it.
Wow. Now, so, just getting back to the map strat here, because these guys are kind of getting into the point of being nearly ready, I reckon. What do we think we're going to see? Do some drawing on here? I think someone has started. I'm not sure which one of you guys that was, but that's cool.
That was me saying that every time that Vile has played this map from this side, they have done the same thing, and they've won almost every time. So I feel like DSC has to be up to something here.
Yeah, I mean, taking Team 2 is like so strange to me. Like by
are we going to see a push? GRAM, what do you think? Are we gonna,
well,
they pushed last time and lost, but it was close. So it's possible that
they pushed in like the worst way, though. They pushed up the gullet.
Okay.
They ran this route, which is, oh boy, not good.
I think there's some mind games going here, because if you're from Vile's standpoint, you won last time against their brawl push, you wouldn't expect it again, or would you?
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Because they just took Team 2 again, so it's like. Oh man, do you expect a counter strat or do you expect a brawl push? And if they do brawl push, I'm assuming they would have cleaned up and made the strat stronger. So like from Vile's standpoint, you have it's a conundrum. Do you bring more anti-brawl after seeing them take Team 2, or do you stay with what your deck is and be ready to deal with a counter strat? I don't know. That's a really hard call to make as team lead. I do not envy that.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's a mind game thing, right? At this point,
100%.
And Vile look like, whilst they haven't quite locked in, they're pretty much locked in at 475 tons. So there's no weight skimming or anything like that. What if humor me here on this one on the map strat? What do you think if DSC don't push? How are they gonna do that?
Push. They picked the worst trading side.
Yes.
Why I think they have to, because I don't think DSC would pick such a disadvantaged side just for mind games.
Yeah, they wouldn't. I don't think. Well, actually, you know what? I'm not sure I agree with that because if you think about like Vile again has 2 best of 7s. If they're confident that Vile is just like, okay, as long as we don't die to a brawl push, we're gonna outskill these guys. I'm not saying that's the case, but if that's what they think Vile is thinking, then maybe they would. Maybe they would be like, okay, we're gonna pretend we're gonna brawl push these guys. They're gonna bring a bunch of beam lasers and anti-brawl, and then we're just gonna have more firepower at range, and we're just gonna whittle them down. I could actually see that being a super high level mind game that both these teams are capable of.
Or, again, because DSC are on Team 1 for the next 4 drops after this, they've got some specific stuff that they needed to do, so they needed to be Frozen to get their map picks down the line.
Well, no, because Vile took Frozen, and then DSC willingly took Team Seal, right? So, yeah, I mean, if they do trade, I would expect... the normal stuff is, like, you put a trader over in Fox 5. I'll use, like, purple. You put a trader in, like, Fox 5. You probably put, like, 2 over here in G7 that, like, move up and kind of pressure this, because you do need to get FC. And then your Wolfpack, I would probably have, like, a Pop-Tart here, and then most of your Wolfpack here, ready to push aggressively if the enemy Wolfpack rotates. But
well, these guys are ready to go, so let's get into the very first game of the grand final here today. Oh boy. Oh, I am so ready to see what's coming.
Yeah, this is exciting stuff. Yeah, seeing this first drop deck, it's gonna set the pace of the entire grand final here. Like what this drop deck is, and even before the teams win, like the mind games are flowing. If it's a full send and Vile deals with it handily, then DSC is gonna be on the huge back foot. But alternatively, if it's a full send and they beat Vile with it, then Vile's gonna have that in their mind the rest of the grand final. Like, are these guys gonna just send it again?
Alrighty. So on the DSC side, we are going to see a Shadowcat, a Stone Rhino 6, a Stormcrow, an XC, a Death Strike, a Spider, a Flea 19, a Spider 5V, might I add, and a Blackjack 1X.
No push.
No,
that's a mid-range push. That's a mid-range push, yeah.
Yeah. Because, the Stormcrow Prime and the Mad Cat Death Strike and the Blackjack 1X, these are all most likely mid-range picks.
Sorry, when I say no push, I mean no brawl push.
Yeah, no brawl push, no brawl push.
A little bit clearer on that. Now, on the Vile side, we have a Viper, Shadowcat, Locusts, Exy, Stone Rhino, Flea 19, Battlemaster, and a Sunspider. Ooh.
Sunspider is very interesting. I want to see what's on that. Ooh, just laser bomb.
Large pulse and heavy large laser, like the big combo laser bomb. I'm just going through the builds here quickly. Everything else pretty relatively what you would expect.
Man, it's funny because I think with this deck that the brawl push might have worked because they actually have less than they did last time to stop it.
So while it's almost the same deck DSC brought last time in their sort of mid-vom push, they are not going to run down the gullet. They are instead going entirely into upper city, and they're just planning on running down Kappa side, or not Kappa side, Epsilon side.
Not quite. There's this Exy.
Large here on just quickly. There's a bit of ER large here on the DSC side, on the Death Strike, on the Executioner, stuff like that. So it's definitely not super mid range. It's definitely a bit of.
I'm a little concerned because Neander is sitting with that ER large XC, and as you can see, Vile's going to cross to the Kappa side immediately. They're not going to stay. Derek and Quicksilver are probably just staying behind to screen for the Stone Rhino as they cross, but
they've seen DSC come up that ramp, right? So they've seen DSC come up that ramp relatively quickly and potentially felt like there was an aggressive push coming, which it kind of isn't. It's just a slow roll from DSC moving up here. They're not in a rush. This really is a slow roll to maybe dislodge Vile. I don't know.
I'm concerned for Neander and Simrog here because they've been left on sort of this Sigma Overwatch, but if they don't leave soon, Vile may realize that there's 2 Bex here and just try to steamroll them.
They're in major trouble. This Spider cannot fight, by the way. It's got 2 medium X-Pulse. It's a capping mech, which I don't like bringing that here anyways with what they're doing.
I don't like the cap mech here. if Stimrog was trying to run around and get cheeky caps, maybe, but I mean.
Oh, wait! He's doing something special. He's doing something special. What is this?
Oh, he's going. Is he going cave?
Yeah,
he is.
He's doing something. I'm just watching because DSC now are starting to move up here on the left side here. They've just flipped Gamma, and Vile are ready for this. They have 5 mechs already sitting here waiting for it, and concaving, starting to spread out. We've got Quicksilver and Bowser going back to the left here towards the Gamma side, but Vile have 3 mechs on the opposite side of the map now. DSC have 7, sorry. So the DSC actually have more mechs on this side of the map now.
Yeah, right now Sigma's getting flipped.
Yep, Sigma's getting clipped. Stimrock is just sitting on top of the cave, not really willing to fight that at the moment. However, DSC's making a play onto Vile's 5 mechs here. Sorry.
Imagine if Stim was in like a streak Jenner, like we saw 5J bring out. That'd be so juicy.
That would be.
And just quickly, Hollow here crossing in the open. Already CT open. That's a lot of damage on that Death Strike already.
Yeah, they are forcing the Vile mechs out of here, and oh man, Vile is very bunched up in the low ground here.
A lot of damage.
So much damage.
This is not where you want to be. It's going to be up to Chimera to dominate trades for his team here to save them, because they're stuck in a really bad spot.
Almost as a stopgap in the low ground here with that big alpha. Oh my goodness.
Audius is halved. Oh, sorry, he's 1-touch side, but I mean he's probably standard here. Quicksilver is almost halved. Lizzie and Chimera just fresh, trying to hold the line, but I mean this is not a good spot to be if you're Vile. This is a very bad low ground to try to set up.
I will say right now.
Numbers here who is trying to just stop this Fleas actually on the side here, and maybe coming Nyan's back there. Maybe I'm not entirely sure.
She's in trouble. She's in trouble, and she's crossing the open. I'm not sure she's gonna make it to cover. I don't think she is.
Oh, halved. Nyan's got halves crossing in the open there. With the Stormcry guessing, yes, taking a rear torso.
Chimera's just getting free shots. They can't deal with them, and honestly, they're down to mechs. Stim's mech is just only a capping mech. It can't help fight.
And somehow Quicksilver has managed to get all the way out the back here too.
Stim is just sitting here in the cave, sort of skirmishing with.
Oh, House taking a really bad peek, getting dominated by the Storm Rhino. He's 1-shot CT now. This went from good to bad for DSC. They're in trouble now. This counter push from Vile is going to crush them. It's going to crush them.
I feel like Lizzie's honestly dominating here in the Stone Rhino, just absolutely annihilating anybody who tries to poke. House goes down to Derek.
Lizzie is near fresh, to be completely honest, at this point. Like, he can one-touch.
He's about to swing on
Hollow. Oh
my god. Hollow just obliterated by the Stone Rhino.
Basalt here is open on the left torso. Chicken Man, I believe, is PT.
It's a back shot onto Basalt.
And Stim's getting chased, and he might end up dying to this flea. He can't fight that. This is pretty rough.
Lizzie's coming in. Basalt drops Derek, but I mean, even then, yeah.
That fell very quickly there with MechWarrior numbers here, sorry, in the Viper, getting that back shot and harassing Nyan, and same with Chimera, crossing in the open there kind of just hurt.
Yeah, man, they were winning, and then
kills the spiders. Fleas eat spiders. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's
I'm so surprised because they had Quicksilver on the run. They dropped Audeus almost immediately.
Yep.
I think they overextended, and it didn't help that they have this spider that just can't fight. It can't help them. So whenever, he's getting the back half, so like, it's not a cap game. They're pushing aggressively. They're in the open. Like, they need to kill. And they force try to get the kills in the low ground too much. They let Chimera just free farm. I expect him to have like 800, 900 damage. Maybe even more. He was uncontested.
If it's not, 800, Like, he crossed super early as well and just largely sat there, completely uncontested for the most part, because what do you do? Like,
I mean, they could have shot him back, but they focused too much on the low ground mechs, and they didn't have an answer for those light mechs swinging on them, because again, like, they're down a light mech of their own.
Oh, Lizzie legs Windscape.
Yeah. It's just cleanup time.
Lizzie's just coring him out, not even trying to deal with that leg shielding, but yeah, GG's.
Wow. That was fast.
DSC was looking strong there, but yeah, just a couple of mistakes, and it swapped the other way.
If DSC had one, I don't know what the cap spider did there. I'm very curious to see the damage numbers, or at least the cap numbers there, because like, yeah, Stimrog did 4 damage and spent 45 seconds. He spent less time capping than Windscape. I feel like this is not the map where you want to bring that. I feel like it's just a mech down.
I have to agree with you. I'm not sure. They must have thought Vile was going to do something else. I guess I just don't understand. They bring mid-range push, but then you bring a cap mech as well. It's like if you're pushing in any sort, then you shouldn't expect the game to go long, and for that cap spider to get value. It's a
And
kind of a
just going
strange
through
pick.
here quickly, yeah, we've got Lizzie actually with the highest 839 there, just literally door stopping on that corner there in that Stone Rhino. Chimera actually didn't get to 800, 764, and Derek not too bad there in the Sun Spider. And for the DSC side, had Basalt there doing 622 in his mech, and then everyone else kind of getting stuck or taking too much without putting enough out.
Yeah, I think
I kind of want to highlight Derek there because even though Derek didn't do as much damage as the assaults, the manual definitely was a very strong brawl stop to work. And while everybody was scared of the Stone Rhino, Derek was sort of going around the side, getting very cheeky shots there in his Sun Fighter. So I would say it's not the most common pick, but it worked out very well for them.
yeah.
All right, I am going to bring up the map straight if you guys want to clear it and have a quick chat about what happened there while I do the lobby danceroo.
So funny enough, yeah, the DSC started like I had illustrated with the traders with one like Fox 5 and one mech kind of covering in Fox 4, but not really covering because the spider doesn't do anything as far as defense. But then they actually pushed. They pushed aggressively. I'll just clear this. They pushed aggressively with mid range, and they actually kind of caught Vile's mechs and killed one, halved one, and forced them down to this low ground in D5. But Chimera was just uncontested in Echo 4 here.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like he didn't have to because they had ER large themselves. But I think it was a combination of Chimera getting shots in, the Stone Rhino high peaking and pressuring out of Delta 5, and then these lights that swung through Theta. And Windscape was there to kind of mirror them, but it was 2 versus 1. And the Exy was getting beat up on by Chimera. So, I just felt like even though they got that early pick, it was actually even. It was 7 versus 7 because the spider just is not able to help. Yeah, you can take the back cap, but they're not in a rush to solve that. Like they have plenty of time.
Yeah, you had Chimera in this entire Echo 4 area here, just laying fire across as each DSC mech came into the open there, and then was right here. Vile got really, really, really balled up, and then conversely dropped. They dropped sort of backwards into the channel here, and then it was DSC's turn to get super balled up right here, right there, almost instead, and were kind of locked in a way. They couldn't go anywhere at that point.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
I'm trying to think of like ways DSC could have played that strat better. And the one thing that comes to mind every time, the first thing that my mind jumps to is the Exy planted here and the spider planted here, and how DSC just sort of had a light floating, not really doing anything. I feel like if they chose a combat light to sit on Sigma rather than the spider 5V, and if they put their floating light back here and they had 3 mechs on Sigma and sort of tried to do a synchronized push over the dropship in order to backshot Chimera and whoever else was up there, I feel like that would have given DSC a much stronger fighting chance and would have broken up Vile's firing line a little bit.
I could see that working, but you also have to keep in mind like you're splitting then, and if they push one side, like a Vile just pushes one side, you could get caught and killed.
Yeah, that's true. That's huge. Vile could easily turn around and kill those 3 mechs on Sigma. Sigma's just such a risky place to leave mechs behind if you're gonna wrap the whole map over Epsilon's side. It's just, I feel like every time it happens, you just see whoever's there get a few good shots in and then just obliterated.
Yeah, I think that the intention of the Exy was kind of to keep them thinking that it wasn't as much of a push into Gamma as it was. And it kind of worked. I just think I even said it during the cast, right? If that spider was like a streak Jenner, it kills that flea, it takes the cap, and then you have the streak Jenner in your backline that you have to deal with. Right? Like, I just feel like it's really tough with a spider, and Stim's done great work with that spider during this CS, but maybe this just wasn't the strat or map for it.
Well, I think, I said early in the game that Vile were sort of moving, and then they kind of stopped. I think they must have realized that not all of the mechs were there. So where was that Exy? And then Exy from 9 had to play the walk across a lot of the map to then join the fight, and that takes time. Even in an Exi, you're still talking. Well, it's got to be 45 seconds at least to do that move from one side of the map to the other, up to the Delta 6 box.
Yeah.
Now, quickly, HPG. We don't have to probably talk too much about this, but Team One have already locked in. So if one of you guys wants to do a 2-minute summary of what
I will go ahead and do that.
Do.
So, well, I'll just set up how the team set up last time when they were playing standard deck, which was like something like this with their traders on DSC side, and then I think Vile had, I want to say 2 mechs up here, and I think they had 1 like floating over here to begin with, and then they had 1 on the low ground as well. Both teams had 1 assault on the low ground, and 2 on the high ground is what I recall. And then the lights and mediums kind of deciding, do we want to go Theta or do we want to go Kappa if it's like DSC side, and then Vile side deciding, hey, do we want to go Theta or do we want to maybe like pressure on this right side, see if we can't jump something over there. But it's really going to be a battle for like, okay, who has more trade, and then the team that has more trade, or the other team has to try to fight for Theta usually and control the 3 cap that way.
I'm going to draw something in pink. Do you think the DSC as Team One might try some sort of aggressive wall push? I know they've done it before, but do you try it again?
I don't think you do. I don't think you do here. No, I think that it's like, it can work, but I think it's pretty risky. And I think that with the new Bull Sharks especially, we didn't actually see any in that last drop. But I think they're incredibly strong, and I think they're pretty good overall at stopping push. So I would not do a wrapping wall strat like that.
Well, I mean,
I hope we don't see it. If memory serves, DSC made a few critical errors in the last DSC against Vile match, and I think one of them actually was trying to wrap around the wall in a Dire Wolf, I believe. So, but I don't know.
yeah, I think it was 9 actually wrapping the wall, and then kind of got a little stuck by. Oh, geez, was it the Shadow Cat, the ERPPC Shadow Cat, just having the angles from memory? Yep.
And one thing that I clearly recall from last game is how heavily Vile won Theta, just because they planted the adder down there and just waited for a light to come in. And the adder is probably, I mean, the adder is not fast, but you know, if you are unable to run away and you're in tight confines, like say you are in the HPG Theta, then that's definitely
one of the strongest lights.
Yeah, it's definitely a painful fight to take.
Yeah, I just draw the on the green there, just for the people at home. What I was talking about, maybe you're at work or in the toilet, it could be anywhere. Just where that Shadow Cat was on that last, the previous match against them, when the pink was the Dire Wolf moving up, and the DSC guys were moving up. But again, that Shadow Cat all the way back there, just sort of roaming with the ERPPCs, not the plasmas, able to just harass and stop Basalt as well, actually. I remember who it was now. There we go. 9 and Basalt, I think, came up on that side. So I suspect we'll probably see the ER peeps, not the Plasma Shadowcat, because it worked pretty damn well for Vile last time.
I would agree with you. I think that the ERPPC Shadowcat in this map is incredibly strong. There's just so many good places to pop tart from, and the ranges can be quite long.
Quite long indeed. Like 1,500 meters long. And when you're just annoying someone with your blue balls, just slowly tapping, you know, slowly, little bit by little bit, just chipping, annoying. It's enough. It's enough to say, hey, I'm not going to keep going any further. Plus, hello, I know you're standing there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Both teams locked,
right,
actually?
Now, they're locked in. 475 for DSC on the tonnage and 480 for Vile. So again, nothing too light, nothing too tricky, nothing too sneaky. Let's get into drop number 2. And I already updated the scoreboard, by the way. Yeah, look at me go. TO's had one job. One job.
Sorry.
It's all right. While you guys are talking, I'm sitting there doing all the Puppet Master stuff in the background, you know, so that's okay. Oh, all right. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah.
I went to check in on how the MWO Leagues 3 stream is doing, and then I wanted to know what everybody was saying in chat, so I had to open Google to translate in order to see what they were saying. Kaku! Yeah!
Do you want to do the team 2, and then I'll do the team 1 because I sort of spawn here. So yeah.
Vile is bringing an Incubus, a Bull Shark 6, a Blackhawk Coup OX, a Exy, a Shadowcat, a Stone Rhino 7, a Flea, and a Jenner 2C. Oh, I'm so excited. A Blackhawk Coup and a Bull Shark in the same match.
Right. Now, on the DSC side, we have a Jenna 2C as well. Kid Fox, a little cute fox. Shadowcat, Exy, Direwolf, Viper, Stone Rhino 2, and Le Osiris. Oh shit, I'm on the wrong side of the map.
Actually,
I'll quickly go through the Val builds. Sorry, I got that wrong. I keep forgetting where I am. ER large there on the Exy. Bull Shark is just Ultra 5s. Wow.
Yep,
Medium laser Black Hawk.
the DACA variant.
Ooh. 10 ER large Stone Rhino. Oh my goodness.
Jesus fucking
10?
Christ, Lizzie.
Holy shitballs.
Then the Blackhawk running 14 ER meds. It is the OX. That's pretty much all it's good for. My God, Lizzie, how fast? I need to check how fast this mech is.
It can't be.
44
going in Theta right now.
kph.
DSC taking Theta. If Leprechaun peeks
Yep.
his head in here, he might be in for a world of hurt, but it looks like he's going to be cautious. He's just looking in.
Direwolf is ER large. No surprise there. 2 Gauss, 4 ER large again for that Stone Rhino. We've seen DSC bring that before, so no surprise there. Otherwise, the Cute Fox is AP Gauss Plasmas as well as the Shadowcat for DSC. So just important to note there that they don't have the ER PPC range on them. They're going for the more mid-range.
Yeah, Stim kind of running in front here. I'm surprised he's not taking any damage at all, but I guess his traders doing their job. Kind of giving free reign for him to walk across in the open.
Yep.
Yeah.
They take that early
Leprechaun
free cap.
Probably realized that solo poking Theta is just not what he needs to do. So
Yeah, it's going to be really impossible for Neon to win these trades because that Incubus is also helping with that Storm Rhino. So gotta be patient.
Already down to 86% there. Let me have a quick look.
Yeah, it's okay. It's pretty spread. It's not a huge deal, but you don't want to force trades as 2 versus 1, of course, even if it's just an Incubus of 2 ER large. Straight coming out Basalt, that's going to hurt.
Also note is that Neon Dare running the 4 Goss, the 4 ER large, 2 Goss, and then 9 ER micros, which kind of hurts with DPS a fair bit.
Basalt just took 6% off that single strike right then.
This 7 with the range quirk and max TC, I'm assuming, is just winning. It's just dominating traits right now. Like, they need to stop peeking it. I mean, you're bringing hybrid, like you said, with the micros. You probably only have TC1, and you're 4 ER large, 2 Goss only against 10 ER large. Like, you just can't force the trades against that. Don't do it.
6 Vile mechs are going down to Theta. Chimera and Derek have arrived, and they're putting all their weight down to take it as hard as they can.
They want Theta. They are taking Theta, and that's it. And just in the process, then Nine made another trade and is also open on the right torso there on the Direwolf already. So pretty early. We'll have to have a look at the.
This is going really bad for DSC so far because they're both losing trades and they can't contest Theta with their builds. So they need to find something to do on the map. MPG being aggressive on the right side.
Huge hit from Chimera trying to poke.
Oh, that's all. And it all went straight to the torso. Straight to the torso then.
Yeah.
Oh, Lizzie is starting to take some damage.
But I mean, Lizzie is what? Solo trading, or no, duo trading against 3 mechs? 2 mechs?
Yeah.
Two at the moment. With the Kid Fox from Stim kind of shooting him as well a little bit, I guess. But
Jan get halved.
Max range.
Jan did get halved. So 1 Goss, 3 ER large left now. Yeah, that's quite bad for them. We'll say Hollow is completely fresh, at the very least. He's actually running 4 ER large 9 micropulse, so he's more on the brawl side compared to the Trey side. Maybe we'll come into play later.
Neander is just on Death's Door, trying to angle out the Stone Rhino so she doesn't have to deal with it. But I feel like the damage is already done. DSC needs to make a decisive play here soon.
Lizzie very quickly then was down to 58% and has just dropped off the wall to go around. So electing to not take any more damage and reposition.
I just gotta talk about the deck real quick. Before something big happens, although it looks like Vile's looking to push aggressively on this right side. MPG, his side torso open, the other one almost open. But I think that somehow Vile has managed to both take more DPS and Brawl to hold basement while also having more trade. Their deck just seems better.
I feel like it's just the mech lab difference there. I feel like it's just what is a Direwolf with ER micro backups meant to do against a 10 ER large Stone Rhino?
And what about this Osiris as well? That it's only good for brawling, but if you have less brawl, then how can it ever do anything?
Right?
Yeah, I would be surprised if Vile tries to push because I mean Vile Vile has
Vile
to be
don't
very
need
aware
to.
here of just the amount of entropy DSC is experiencing right now. Vile knows that Vile knows that they're both up on trades and caps.
MPG just popped up then, and now both of his torsos are not
Okay,
open.
this is their play though.
quietly.
This is their only chance to win the game. Is Chicken Man going for this gank? They don't see him. He has to get something here, or they lose. Like this is the only chance.
But I mean, Kong has a UAV up. If they try to gank Kong, he will see it.
Yeah, but they have to try. I mean,
it.
maybe go for Lizzie instead.
He has. No, he's seen it. So he's seen it. Yeah. So Vile know that it's coming.
Not yet. Yep. Now.
Yeah. No,
he knows.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm not sure he saw Windscape though. I think Windscape he doesn't realize. Windscape's gonna jump up, so Windscape's gonna chase after. Oh no!
While Kong is gone though.
Is that good vision or good timing? I don't know. Oh, we'll have to ask later. Oh, and Leprechaun has come back here as well. Vile,
brutal back shot.
Okay, maybe they're gonna try to fight the lights on low ground though. I think Windscape should drop and help Chicken. Yeah, he is. He's going to.
Yeah, he is.
They can maybe gank Dubix here. Oh, they're kind of spreading though. They're kind of spreading. Oh, they're.
Oh no, they're bailing out.
Fighting the flea.
Oh no, this is bad. This has gone from bad to worse. I'm not even sure Windscape's gonna get out. Nope, he got legged.
Oh,
so the Dad Osiris is dead.
My God.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong fight then. Jeez, that's annoying.
Trying to pull out like that is like impossible in that sort of scenario.
And Dubix is kind of quite weak too.
To control Theta. I mean, this is sort of how composed Vile is in this deck. Is that they don't even feel the need to run down and kill the kill the legged Osiris. They just allowed the lights to leave, and they're going back to hold their cap.
And the other scrap here is now going on at the gate, where DSC have tried to get a little bit aggressive, started harassing Chimera, so he's down. He's lost a little bit of percentage. Basalt is also moving up here on the right side. Basalt is taking quite a bit of fire from Chimera. Oh, Basalt is taking a lot of damage.
He's halved.
Oh no, not good.
I mean, he's alive, but
he makes it into to safety. But even then,
like the only
safety, but he's got no weapons.
The only way for
some of them have.
DSC to do anything at this point is to somehow find a cap win, but I just don't see it. Like this looks so hopeless.
I don't see it either. I feel like DSC needed to do a bold, decisive play.
Well, they tried. They tried with the Viper and Osiris and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so DSC have come back for another little bit of a nibble over the back there, but those three Vile mechs are aware of what's going on. They know he's coming. I don't even know who it is.
The problem is that Derek is almost fresh in his Blackhawk coup here, and he's just burning down any light that like even thinks about taking the center.
There's 3 mechs in the back here for Vile. Like DSC just needs to push the other mechs.
Take all 4 of them on.
Yeah,
Apollo's dropped in the fight. Derek's about to 3v1, and the scariest part is he might win.
He's just got to go. They're pushing it now, but the bull shark.
Chimera is on Hollow here as well, so someone's about to die. House goes down to Derek. Hollow is next, I think.
Hollow shooting micropulse out of range at Chimera, just laying into him with Daka. It's so.
Yep, and Hollow's about to swing on Derek, or Derek's about to swing on Hollow.
Yep,
that's it.
Oh, that Black Hawk.
Yeah.
And now Vile are about to dive.
Taking Theta.
Yeah, so Vile have realized this and have dived just into the basement where everything is. I feel like this is the final fight of the game. Oh, sorry, this little match here in the basement. Scout gets Chicken. Everyone is on Mr. Stim here, who's flying away everywhere. Oh, gets shot in the bottom by Dubix, and then the legged Osiris gets finished off. And
now it's just down to Neon there, who is.
She's just killing herself. Yeah, they have accepted defeat. I have to say, this game from Vile was expertly played. Like, that was incredibly impressive. I think they did everything right, from strategy to builds to actual gameplay. I am incredibly impressed. That was super, super high level gameplay from them.
Behind Neon there.
Is Bowser going to be able to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, Bowser gets it in the end. The machine gun. Ding, 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 ding. Finish.
Yeah, that was impressive.
I saw that in the chat.
And incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive. Like, honestly, that looked like about the highest level that you can have in MWO, in my opinion.
Oh, let's have a look at the damage numbers. What do we have here? Chimera with 826 in the UAC Bull Shark. Oh my goodness, that is a lot. Derek there in the Black Hawk coming in with 512, seemingly towards the middle to end of the game. And Lizzie 536 on the Vile side. Basalt there 490. Hollow doing quite some good work with 571 there in the Exy. And then all the other guys sort of rounding out in the middle. Oh, that Osiris getting legged there on the dive with 106. Not ideal at all. And yeah, the as you can see, the Vile numbers keeping the 9 in the Direwolf down, like well down there in the Direwolf on the trade department.
Yeah. I think that
Strat time. Would you guys like to do some drawing about what happened that game? Because that was a very well executed game.
Lost in the Mech Lab.
I don't actually agree that it was a loss in the Mech Lab. I think it was still possible, but Vile just played so well. Like I think that it's hard for me to overstate how well Vile played that, because I don't think DSC actually played it that bad. And I don't think their drop deck was bad by any means. I do think it was outclassed a bit, but I think that Vile played so well that it looked like DSC made bigger mistakes than they did. I think the play for the Viper and the Osiris to go for Lizzie was correct, given the state of the game. And I think that like Kong and Lizzie handled it literally perfectly. And the mechs that came back, perfect timing on them. Like all of Vile's moves this game were perfect. I think the one chance DSC probably had, looking at the drop decks, I think they needed to push underneath. I think they probably needed to drop the Dire from the wall. It had those micro lasers, and push it underneath, because you have this Stone Rhino with set like 11 ER large, you have this Incubus with ER large, you have the XC with ER large. You just need to force Theta, and you're just gonna have to fight that Bull Shark, and it's gonna hurt. But I don't see another way for them to win that game with their deck. I mean, they have this Osiris, they can't do anything until it brawls.
I feel like the entire DSC play is just they have to do a Hail Mary, and their Hail Mary they tried didn't work, but I think another thing is that they just tried to make a move too late after they had already lost so much armor. Neonder was halved, MPG was already open both sides. It was just rough all around. And I think one thing is that if you are in a losing scenario, you sort of have to realize that quickly and make the play as soon as you can before things have decayed too much.
Yeah, I agree with you. But it is hard to do. And again, I think that it wasn't against any other team. I do think that Viper and Osiris gank likely would have worked, but Vile just played it, they countered it perfectly. So
I've just done some drawing quickly there on the map. So roughly where all the mech positions were for DSC and for Vile in the predominant areas with the high ground and stuff, and then the green arrow and the blue arrow down here. I probably should make that the pink. That's when the lights for DSC, the two of them came in there. But again, with that UAV in roughly there, I think it was roughly Fox 5, they would have seen him, seen the DSC guys, the two lights coming out of the gates, and then reacted perfectly. I mean, Vile were ready for it almost at some point. Like, I guess if you're up on caps, you've got map control. What the DSC do, they've got to make something happen, and that's go, and it's the, what do you call the Sigma gate, I guess, is probably the easiest thing to call it. And that's where you're going to go.
Yeah.
And they tried it, didn't quite work. There was a little scrap in this area here at the gate. And then, Windscape running out there and just getting shot at down, and the legged off at the end. Right. To the bog.
Boy.
To the bog.
Yeah,
what do we think? What are you thinking?
This map, in my opinion, this is by far the most favorite map for one team side. And again, DSC chose Team 1, I believe, right?
Yes. Yes, on Bog. Let me check the log here. Yes, they picked Team 1 on Bog. Yeah.
And I just don't understand that, because to me, Team 2 is just so favored. I mean, you have this easy to jump up to spot in F8. You have this really nice trading spot in Delta 7, Echo 7. And you have a lot of cover on the low ground and easier angles into Theta that you're much safer to contest that. It's much harder for the enemy to position their assaults, because either you send stuff like up here in Fox 4 that can't help at all on Theta and is really far to get there, or you spend too much stuff on the low ground and then it's really easy for the enemy to grab Epsi. Like it's really, really difficult to hold 3 cap on Team 1. So that, in my opinion.
Geez, they locked in. Done. Wang, bang. Okay. How do you play as Vile? Are you going to be aggressive on that top side?
No, I don't think you do. I think you probably send a Pop-Tart D5. And you can harass mechs in like Echo 5 or in Fox 4 on the high ground. And
we did see the surprise push last time in Delta 5 when I believe it was Derek and then 2 DSC. One was a SRM mech, I think, came couldn't convert the kill.
Yeah. They were hiding underneath a rock in Delta 4. The UAV did not spot them,
That's right.
and they almost got the gank.
That made me so sad.
Yeah, but you did see
Yeah,
that Vile was
here,
bringing a
just
Pop-Tart
here.
Shadowcat to that Delta 5 spot. Yeah, so I would not be surprised if they do that again or just a little bit more safe about it.
Yep. Oh dear. So 2 wins to Vile, 1-0 to DSC. I believe if it's a 4-0, then that is the series done.
Yep.
Um,
For those who aren't familiar with the bracket, it is first to 4, and then if DSC wins, they get four wins. It actually goes to round 2 because it is a double elimination league, and Vile is coming from the top bracket and DSC is coming from the bottom bracket, which means Vile has to lose first to 4 twice. And given how these first 2 games have gone, I'd be a little concerned if I was DSC right now.
Yeah, I would. We'll see what they have planned here. If they're picking team 1, they have to have something spicy planned, and we'll see if it works.
I was about to say just that. I feel like something's coming, right? This is maybe where the game, they've had a couple of little rough games there from DSC. Well, I guess very well executed from Vile side by the same point. But if you're picking team 1 on Bog, I feel like you got something planned, right? And DSC did have something planned last time for Vile. So maybe there's another strat they've got ready. They've sort of scienced out in the last couple of weeks. And we might very well be seeing that shortly.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think if they try to play a standard game on this disadvantaged team side against the Vile that looks like the Vile from last game, it's going to be so hard. I mean, that was just exceptional play from Vile. So I think out-strategizing them is probably the best bet for DSC to start making a comeback here on a map that they don't have the favored team side, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring out.
If they're on team 1, maybe they think they have the favored side.
It could be, but they're definitely not for a standard strategy. Definitely, like, objectively for a standard strategy, it is worse. So it could be favored. I mean, obviously they think it's favored for their strategy because they took it.
Yep.
See what it is.
Oh, geez, look at that. Vile wasting absolutely no time at all, instantly locking both teams at 480 tons. Let's go. Let's do it. Drop number 3 for the World Champs Championship Series, I should say, for 2024.
Let's see if there's more Bull Sharks. This is definitely another map where you can bring it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that in the back of my mind. Are we going to see 2 Bull Sharks? 1 IS, 1 Clan 1 this time? Maybe.
Yep, definitely could.
Maybe.
I think that the Bull Shark proved its strength last game, if nothing else.
It certainly did.
Very
let's see.
Flexible there.
Bullshark and Blackhawk on Vile again, but no Bullshark on DSC.
Okay.
Vile has an XCM, a Jenner 2C2, a Bullshark 2, a Flea 19, a Blackhawk Coup OX, an Incubus 5, a Stone Rhino 1, and a Shadowcat Prime.
So the only slight difference here, we've got streaks on Ghosty here in the Kit Fox. So we've got some streaks here. 9 again, the Large Direwolf, and that hybrid build again.
There is some spicy stuff though. So, no, go ahead.
Yes, there is a Mad 4L with Gauss ER Peeps, and he's capping Spider again.
Yeah,
and 10 AP Gauss Viper. I feel like this might be diving that Delta 5 and going chasing and killing whatever Vile sends there.
Okay. Wow, this is a spicy Stone Rhino build, by the way. 2 AC-10, 2 Ultra, AC-5, 3 Plasma. The one thing I want to point out that might not be obvious because it doesn't show up when you click the mech, both of DSC's big traders, the Direwolf and the Marauder, actually have ECM. So maybe that's the key here. Maybe they're going to leverage the ECM on this side. Maybe the line of sights that they've mapped out, the trees kind of block, and they're planning to win trades through that ECM coverage.
ECM on Bog is incredibly annoying to deal with. Bowser Shadowcat running beams and LMGs.
And an ER medium too, it's in the middle.
It's to deny the Theta cap, and he's doing it excellently. Stimrog cannot get it, and he's going to have to look for it because the only way that Spider is useful is if it gets the cap on Theta.
Oh, they are hard stopping Stim. Oh, look at that.
They learned their lesson from last time, man. They learned their lesson from last time. They're not going to let this Theta cap go so easily.
You know what it looks like? A Star Wars movie. Lightsabers everywhere, just
Chimera
beam
running
lasers.
6 ER large and 4 heavy meds on it, or 4 heavy meds on an air sphere mech. 6 ER large and 4 ER meds on his Bull Shark 2, which is an interesting pick. I actually like it a lot because the ear mounts on the Bull Shark is not anything to scoff at. So
Just looking here as well, just quickly, Basalt here in the Mad 4L is in the low ground, like the bottom right corner, with the ECM down there, definitely looking to shoot through the trees. Absolutely spot on there.
I mean, the man hasn't even been
I don't know.
shot back yet. It is almost impossible to trace Goss shots. PPC shots are a little easier, but you know, it's not like ER large where you can just watch to see where the beam is coming
Okay,
from.
this might decide the game right now. Stim's legs are getting open, man. Like, he can't do this again. Like,
Stim is just trying so hard for.
Oh, Stim is almost open leg, almost. It's like bright red.
They've just counter-stratted it. Like, they have all the tools.
In the meantime, right up the top of the map there, we've got, I'm guessing it's Derek. No, it's not. It is Dubix, actually, who's been watching the top side of the map for Epsi and Kappa. Hasn't actually decided to go and take Epsilon yet, but I feel like Vile have to know that the entire force for DSC are in the bottom corner of the map here, and they're more happy to deny Theta than go and try and cap Epsilon.
They're probably maybe they think one mech is missing, and they're just like, hey, it's not worth the risk. Every single time the spider steps on the cap, it's losing armor. Why rush it?
Yeah, Dubix is starting to move up, but yeah, I feel like Vile just feels comfortable. They don't feel the need to take a cap because, I mean,
now he's off. He's off running
down enough of the DSC armor, they can
Oh,
just
he got it. He got it. Okay, he finally got it. That cap spider finally did its job, but its legs are now open. So
however,
they've also lost. They're going to lose Epsi for that though.
DSC Stim is open a leg. Dubix is getting Epsilon, and he has Bowser screening for him.
And we've got the Mech Warrior numbers here. Mr. Kong is actually moving up in his Stone Rhino as well. So Vile about to take the top area of the map here. What are they? The E5, I guess the plateau. But DSC are coming hard back on the other side here. All three mechs slowly moving up. We've got the Streak, Kit Fox. Spider is actually open on the leg now, by the way. At some point, it's taken even more damage.
You say they're coming back hard, but the Spider, it can't fight. I mean, like, even if it was full health, it couldn't fight. It's 2 medium X pulse, but now it's open leg. Like, that exerts no pressure on the map at all. Until it can reach a back cap and start, getting caps uncontested, it is might as well you're mech down. So this is looking really rough for DSC.
Which is more surprising, the fact that Vile counter stratted, or the fact that DSC brought the same strat to play into that counter?
Yeah.
So we've got Vile here now that have got a comfy, I'd say a pretty damn comfy 3 cap. Theta to them means nothing anymore now. It doesn't mean anything. They can just sit here and slow roll this now, Vile. And look at where DSC are. They're kind of packed into the bottom where the old lily pad area used to be, essentially in the bottom corner behind Theta. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mechs here just stuck here on Theta.
This is kind of what I talked about before the map. This is the weakness of Team 1. You can't hold Epsi and Theta with your bigs. You can't do it on Team 1. And so now that they're stuck on the low ground, Vile's just taking kind of a surround on them. They're just going to play it safe and just win trade slowly. They don't have a good way out.
Yep, of which, I would say the biggest thing to point out here is how little shots are going out right now.
Yeah.
DSC,
I feel like DSC have got to move, and I'm just watching Vile's side now. Vile are actually already starting to rotate back. I feel like they know that DSC have to come through this Theta area at some point, and look at where Vile are, man. Coming all the way back here to, I think it's the D5 or the D5 back ridge here behind Kappa, ready and waiting, even though DSC haven't moved.
I feel like MPG is the only one doing anything on the map right now for DSC. Like, everybody else is like, where are they?
Point out here is how cleanly spread out Vile is, especially Leprechaun here in the Flea. There's no avenue for a cap spider to come and take a cap. And take a back cap. Every avenue has eyes on it.
Yeah, we've now got DSC coming back all the way to the other side of the map. Now, this is going to take them a minute, right? This is going to take a minute. We've got a Mad 4L, the Direwolf. It's at least 60 seconds now that they're going to be bleeding more and more tickets, which I think is going to result in nearly 100 ticket deficit.
Yeah,
it's going to be 100 tickets by the time they get there.
They're going to have to step on FC right away and somehow find an angle. I think We'll see if they can get a pick.
I don't know how MPG is supposed to win a fight against a Shadowcat and a Jenner, and the spider does not bring anything.
Correct. That spider is, in my mind, it's dead. It's not a mech really.
The DSC are moving up here on this side here. There's only Bowser and Dubix here at the Epsilon cap point. DSC have 4 mechs. Looks like there's 5, 6
Vile's
on the way.
Rotating the fleet to get Theta, and there's nothing watching it, man. This is...
Yeah.
Theta's going to get flipped. This is...
I think that might be it then. Especially since Bowser is staying here, denying it along with Chimera.
Oh, hard deny on Epsilon there.
Timrog's almost legged in his spider.
Yep. Yeah, I've had my little watchful eye on the leg of the spider.
5 seconds for Theta to get flashed, and yeah, they don't. They cannot.
Be a 4 cap in favor of Vile. Yeah, that's huge. That is massive. And now we're over 100 tickets.
Yeah, they cannot afford to lose Theta.
Real strong position for Vile. Real strong position. Oh, and that's the leg. The leg just got burnt again on the spider.
And his other leg is 1 touch. He's stuck on the cap too. Chimera's gonna either it's Chimera or Bowser's gonna.
And Vile already on the top side here.
Kind of trying to take the Northern Hill hard to screen for it.
Okay, but what about Theta though? Like, it doesn't matter. They have nothing to contest Theta. Look at the caps. Their bigs are too slow to get up here. It's I don't want to call it yet, but
DSC can't do much either because Street Kid Fox can't. I mean, you've got to fly through the air to get lock-ons at this point, and you're going to get hard hit by everything. Black Hawks, the whole lot, all just looking here from Vile. Now, DSC's assaulted moving up on the right.
Yeah, Nyan's going to try to force it, but...
DSC they're going to try and immediately get a 4 cap in order to win this.
Like, you just have to go W.
I don't think they're capable of doing that. I think...
Oh, it's Leprechaun versus Hollow if they realize what's going on down here. Ooh, no, Leprechaun is out. Doesn't matter. He's going to forget Theta, I should say. Not forget.
Bowser rotated over to make sure they don't get Theta.
2 cap wins.
Yeah, it's...
Yep.
I think this is a wrap.
Yeah, 100%.
We've got Chimera here shooting Basalt. I don't think Basalt realized Chimera was right here in the corner. Just got a complete full burn on his CT. Or near enough to it.
Yeah, Chimera playing that corner expertly.
Yeah.
With the Xe in the back.
I did not know he was there. Yeah.
DSC mechs are just running in.
What do we got? 20 tickets to go. Vile have definitely secured this on tickets. The numbers are not looking that good for DSC overall anyway. Very, very well executed again from Vile.
I just...
you know,
like, last time they had those, like, the ambush to guard Epsi, and so it wasn't able to get flipped so easily when they got Theta. This time they had nothing there. Like, this...
Yeah.
I just feel like Vile is playing so, like, better than before, and DSC's strats are just, like... there's massive holes in them.
Just going to go through the damage very quickly here. Lizzie pumping out the top side of the Vile damage with 573. And then Bowser Chimera in there as well. Dubix just doing this screeny job with 80 damage, as you do. Chicken Man, though, 736 for DSC, putting out a lot of damage. But the rest of the DSC guys kind of unable to really do much at all. Like, their damage numbers are really, really low.
I mean, when you have a small map like this, and you lose on caps with 7 mechs alive at the end, it feels really bad. Because it just means that, like, you just didn't play
especially when you have a Spider 5B. Like,
yeah, it's
rough.
It's I don't know. I really feel like they just must not have expected Vile to be able to stop that Theta cap the way they did. But Vile is showing that, like, they're playing really well, and man, they are on top of their strats. They know these maps. They know what they're in DSC's head, in my opinion. Like, they're the one that is out strategizing DSC, not the other way around.
All right, do you want to do some very quick map strategy there for what happened on Bog, and we will move over to Terra Therma relatively quickly because this side thing is very important again.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I think that Vile got team 2, right? Sorry, but let's talk about Bog first. Yeah. Okay, so Bog.
Yeah. For Vile.
Yeah, Bog was like kind of what I talked about earlier. The team 1, you could see the disadvantage because they set up traders kind of all in Theta, all towards Theta, with really nothing watching Epsilon. And yeah, I think they actually were slightly winning the trades, maybe. I mean, Chicken's damage definitely points to that. But they couldn't get Theta because the Vile lights and mediums denying it with beams from these off angles that the traders can't hit. It's just so much easier to safely deny Theta from Team 2. And yeah, that mech in F8, I think it was an Xe at first. And so they just deny Theta and bleed DSC, and then once DSC starts moving forward, trying to force Theta with their bigs, they realize, Vile realized, like, hey, we don't even have to fight this. Epsi's completely unguarded. There's no bigs that have any line of sight on that. So let's just grab that. And at that point, your DSC, all of your big mechs are on the low ground. And you have this Cap Spider that is an open leg and can't really fight to begin with. How the hell are you going to take Epsi back with only 4 mechs? So instead, they try to rotate their bigs, but like these are 48 kph assaults with like long range builds. How are you going to rotate them up fast enough and take Epsi back while holding Theta? It's just not going to happen. The distance between Epsi Theta is
what happened there, and the rollback from Vile here when again all those mechs were on Theta. Well, they had 6 there, and Vile, they must have known that the DSC are basically sitting here. They're either going to push or they're going backwards, and they just again slow rolled this really nicely. 3 cap. DSC have to react, and they can only come from 2 areas on Bog. I mean, it's really, really well done.
I just gotta point out, like, Vile looks significantly, like, they look like a truly top tier team, not just in this tournament, but like in the history of MWO to me, watching previous like years of games. And compared to like earlier in the year or even just like the previous match, I'm assuming that Chimera is their main drop caller, right? He's the team lead. He is just expertly navigating his team. Like, it's really impressive what he's managing to do. Obviously, maybe people are making their own decisions and stuff, but you can tell that the total idea of the movement of the mechs is being directed, and it's just expertly played. There's nothing else to say about
and
it.
There's no Seleth either, which is traditionally... Seleth has not been in any drops today. I don't know if you guys have sort of noticed that. I've noticed there's definitely a name missing. And Seleth, I can tell you from years, is normally a little bit of the light department drop calling and stuff here and there. So, interesting fill and change. And it's working.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he could make it.
That Vile definitely also has the advantage of, Chimera is not the only prestigious drop caller there. You have Bowser, you have Kong Lord, you have Lizzie, all also very experienced. Derek is pretty good at it too. So like, you have so many players over there who are used to calling the shots in games, so even though if you have only one drop caller, you have players who have experience controlling a match, which means that you have a lot of free thinkers, which means that Chimera probably doesn't have to micromanage his team.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Pretty safe.
You're probably right, but
like,
the general direction,
giving his team reign.
But you're probably right, and I 100% agree with you, everything you just said. But you could tell the general direction, like that move to like, okay, let's give up Theta and wrap on Epsi. Like that, they did that as a team.
Yeah.
Like somebody is making that call to do that. But I do agree with you, 100% agree with you.
We're down to a minute for DSC, or almost a minute for DSC, so they're going to be flicking over soon. Terra Therma, what are we going to see here with DSC as Team 1 and Vile as Team 2, right? So Vile, obviously, we know how Team 2 generally is played. DSC will also know that. What are you doing differently as Vile, or are you just going to try and purely outskill or out-coordinate the enemies?
All right. Well, I could talk freely now. This is the last thing. This is match point. I think that neither team, I didn't actually see a single team in the tournament from what I saw use this spot, but this spot in F6 is the strongest point in the entire game from the Team 2 side. I on this map, at least, by far. You can get an assault up there pretty easily, an Xe, or some other big jump jetting assault, and you have lines all the way through Epsi. You have lines basically covering all of this back here, and you can actually see Kappa as well, and any rotations to try to get up on that Fox 4 rock. That spot, I would be very, very surprised if neither of these teams have figured out that you should use that spot, especially with how tight Vile strats have been. So I expect them to put something up there and go from there. I expect them probably with that spot to try to hold Theta, Gamma, Kappa, and maybe look for FC later. On the DSC side, it's a tall order because, again, I feel like this map is very favored for Team 2 if you play like that. So on Team 1 side, do you split your forces? Do you send like some on FC and some like towards Theta and try to hold Theta, FC, Sigma? But then you're really weak to any sort of aggression on just one of the sides. It's really hard to connect your two sides. Maybe you go for a wide wrap on Kappa. I think that's probably better, but that takes a lot of time. It's a long distance from Alpha Spawn to Kappa, and getting Gamma after that is going to be really tough. Yeah, you can hold Sigma easily because we've seen if the team that holds Sigma, if you're on the Kappa rock, you're not getting that back easily. That was kind of the idea behind the Team 2 strat of taking Sigma, Kappa, Gamma, but Team 1 starts with it. So I don't know what DSC is gonna do, honestly.
The other thing
Really
as well,
hope for DSC's sake, we don't see the Kappa Gamma Sigma hold. I really hope that for their sake, they have learned that against a high level team who knows that this strat exists, it's not a valid play. And it's really easy when you don't win a game. It's really easy to go, okay, if I changed X, Y, and Z, that strat still works. But I feel like DSC needs to come to a harsh conclusion and a harsh realization that the Kappa Sigma Gamma hold is just not a play.
I think it's better on Team 1 because at least you have Sigma to begin with, and that's the hardest cap to take by far because it's so in the open. But I don't actually know if there's a better option, Teos. Like, I cannot stress how much I feel like Vile got the better sides of all these maps. Like, Team 2 to me, especially if you put this mech up high, Team 2 to me is just super favored on this map. It's so hard to do anything on Team 1 when to control Epsi and Sigma, you have to completely split your force because this entire mountain range I'll highlight in purple is blocked off. And they're actually dropping right now, by the way. We are swapping.
Oh yeah, we are here for the last. Well, not maybe the last drop, but
potentially last.
Not the
Game
last.
point. Game point.
The last, yeah, I shouldn't have said that.
But if Vile wins, that's it.
Yeah, this is
Vile
game
are
point.
looking extremely strong. It's a 3-0 lead in their favor right now. It's up to DSC to bring something real special. Real special.
Yeah, they need to
something.
Are we going to see that?
Seen a brawl push yet?
We haven't. No.
However, Vile is running a Kodiak 3, a Blackhawk Coup, a Bull Shark 2, Stone Rhino 1, Locust 1E, Shadowcat, Flea, and Viper.
Huntsman is interesting.
On the DSC side, we have a Shadowcat, XE Viper, Bullshark 6, Kid Fox, Fleas, Huntsman, and a SR6. I'm going to have a quick look at the DSC builds while we start to move in.
Streak, ER large Huntsman. Interesting. So that's going to do something sneaky. All right, well, they're doing something weird. They're doing something weird. Hopefully that works out for them.
ER large is typically a cap holder where, it's deny the caps at range and then you get close and just streak down their lights. I'm a little concerned.
Oh, 2 streaks. No, hang on, 2 streaks. So the Kid Fox also has streaks here for DSC. It's double.
Okay. DSC is sending mechs to Theta. Looks like it won't be the Kappa Gamma Sigma hold, seeing as they haven't even looked at Sigma at all. One thing I'm going to highlight, though, is that House is getting a little aggressive in his scouting in the Flea. That's a pretty unsafe walk-up to take.
Simrock going for the wide flank with this Kit Fox, by the way? Or, yeah, I guess he's looking to ambush on Epsi? I'm not sure.
And, I just realized that DSC has parted with the Spider 5V for now.
All right, well, Vile's kind of heavy on Kappa side. Oh, Chimera is going to jump up to that spot I talked about, by the way. It looks like they have learned that.
Over there, he's slowly moving up here. He's going to jump all the way up there, and then Chicken Man might be in for a slight bull shark surprise, perhaps.
Yeah.
Just quickly as well, I'm fearing here in the SR1, UAC 5's AC10 and 3 plasmas on that Stone Rhino.
Don't remember giving the Bull Shark 2 that many jump jets.
Yeah, it's got 5.
Go up.
Yep, it's got 5.
Chimera.
He will make it.
Okay.
He will make it if he does the jump straight.
I don't remember doing that.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, you've got to invest a lot of tonnage to do this, though, right? Remember, you got to put a lot.
I mean, it's a 95-ton mech. It can handle it. The Bloodass can do 6 and be okay.
Okay, so DSC is starting to move from the Sigma to Kappa, and it's already been spotted by Bowser. Like, Bowser knows this is already coming, that DSC are moving. He's already shooting at them with these 4 mechs. One of them is a Bull Shark. One is an XC, so the Bull Shark are not going to be super fast with the AC5 build. A little bit slow in the mid-50s department from memory. And what are we going to have here? So we've got a Sigma Epsi hold at the moment with the DSC for the caps.
Gets burned by Chimera.
And we've got a 3 cap here from Vile.
Okay, but Chimera not able to get up to the spot he wants. That Bull Shark being too slow, Chicken was contesting him. So he couldn't actually climb up to the ideal spot. He's still in a pretty solid spot to deny Kappa, but he's not where he wanted to be. I just want to point that out.
Yep. Yeah. Neon Bear getting some shots on Bowser as he tries to run away. This is kind of a strange movement from
this Kappa.
DSC.
It's all about Kappa. It's all about Kappa. That's going to decide the game. Can DSC get Kappa or not?
But it's still giving up a lot of cap control. Well, actually, no. They still have 2 mechs to screen for Epsilon. They still have Stimrog sitting in like Epsilon, hiding in the Streak Fox. So
This is a cheeky little spot.
I don't know. A cap hold for this setup might be a little weird.
Well, you've also got
you
the
have Kong on
DSC
top
mech
now to drop off Chicken Man.
It's a DSC mech in the back corner of Sigma as well. Same thing. So they.
Oh,
they
wait. This flea could get picked because look at it. It's between two streak mechs right now. It's between two streak mechs.
You're right.
And they know. And if Sim goes for this, and he should, then this flea should get picked. This flea should get picked.
He's running to get Epsilon. He doesn't know Stimrock there. Stimrock there and waiting. Oh no, this is gonna be really bad for JB or for not.
I think he spotted him. He spotted him.
No!
Oh my god.
Oh no!
They blew it.
Oh my god!
They blew it. That was
gets one shot at this.
Oh, that was their
Leprechaun
chance.
would have been streaked 2 games out of 2 by DSC on Terra, but it didn't happen. Stim was in the wrong spot, and
wow! Oh wait, Leprechaun's going back.
Wait, what?
Oh,
did he not see Stim? Okay, no, he's just checking to make sure it's not being followed.
Yeah, I think that is so sad because that would have won the game for DSC right there, in my opinion. They are grabbing Kappa. Yep. Right now, this bull shark is shooting this flea. The bull shark actually, they've taken the ridge because Kong came up to help and forced that Viper down. So bull shark is up.
Chimera here is still just struggling to get where he needs to get to, maybe, or no, he's.
Chimera's in a super unsafe place though. Also, if he drops, he's dead. He's gonna try to trade.
I don't know why.
But I mean, Assault's there too.
I cannot see the caps.
The meat grinder.
What are the caps right now, guys? But they didn't load for me.
It's 300 to 340 for Vile.
Okay. Yep. Gotcha. Yeah, so FC is going to get taken.
The other thing too is, just interestingly, above Kappa, we have both DSC assaults. Both of them are up here. That is quite interesting indeed. And Nyan is taking quite a bit more damage than Chimera is so far, given how many are up there.
Plan is about to be thwarted due to the fact that there's a flea, a viper, and a blackhawk for Epsilon.
He got pinned down.
DSC's trying to run in, but I don't think it'll be enough in time.
Well, they're going to try.
Get pushed by Derek.
And Stim is very, very weak here.
Armor that I'm not sure about it. Quicksilver gets bombed by Streaks though. Needs to back up. Stimrog's running in to get some damage.
There is 5 mechs here from DSC though to Vile's 3 now.
Yeah, they're forcing it. They're forcing it.
Might die, but DSC are definitely going to force press this back in into Vile.
Quicksilver's halved. Derek's fresh. However, Derek's gonna heat cap.
Okay,
quick.
get Quicksilver.
Quicksilver overheats.
That's not Derek.
Good. Now, Quicksilver overheating means Derek is dead, so he has to delay.
Derek's open side, and I mean, as much damage as the Blackhawk can do, it's not a cool mech. And yep, Derek goes down. That's
pretty huge.
Oh, I didn't see that House in the Flea is legged.
Oh.
So Stim is halved, and Stim is halved, and their Flea is legged. There for DSC, and also the Viper is legged for DSC.
This is going to be a problem. This Kodiak, this is going to be so bad. Oh no, this Kodiak's going to mop up.
Lizzie's just walking in. Lizzie's going to mop up so much.
Yeah. These streaks on this Huntsman do nothing against this Kodiak.
Nothing.
Lizzie just needs to drop the Shadow Cat, and then he wins.
What's happening on the other side? Is Vile winning the trades?
They're kind of fighting. The assault
just poking, but he's trying to play careful.
Oh,
so they're trying to get
Unfearing getting fucked. Unfearing halved. Yeah, Nyan needs to push this and go for Theta though, because they're gonna lose Epsi. They're gonna lose Epsi.
Stim's getting swarmed.
Stim gets finished off there. Oh no! See, the DSC are kind of in trouble now because MPG is nearly legged. And the Huntsman is 1 touch on the CT there as well.
The Sigma back cap. The Sigma back cap, by the way, is a problem.
Bowser swinging to kill the Huntsman.
What's going on here? So Chimera is still keeping all these guys busy down here. Nyan is. Oh geez, Chimera's still alive with 3 mechs over there. Oh dear.
Yeah.
So Ghosty does go down there in the Huntsman after being 1 touch on the CT.
I don't know. I think this is still leaning towards DSC.
No, it's not, man. Because
no, actually, DSC is about to lose the cap, and it's only 560 to 528.
I don't like this play from Jan to go for Chimera either. I think you need to go Theta or Gamma. Like you need caps. Why are you going for kills? I don't get it.
The other thing here is we have Bowser, right? Is fresh. MPG is about to be legged or CT'd here. MPG and DSC have no lights.
They're never getting Sigma back. It's over. It's over. They're never getting Sigma back.
They've got nothing fast.
Vile's about to 4-0 sweep.
That if they had picked that flea when it got struck between those 2 streak mechs.
And Chimera is still here in the middle. And he's able now to deny Sigma or at least shoot down on Hollow.
On Hollow as he tries to get Sigma back. Oh my god.
Yeah, they can't. They'll never get this cat back with the Locust there as well.
Almost 1 touch on the butt. From the rear, at least, anyway. Oh, wow. Chimera has just lived so long up in this little pocket here.
All of
That
this
is
down.
There we go, finishes him off.
Vile
Wow.
has a 4 cap.
It's
The caps are now ticking. The tickets are just absolutely rolling. And Chimera there again. Oh my goodness.
Bowser's juking that.
yeah.
Oh, Basoko's down
goodness.
there. And
It's
what do we
just
have?
down there.
Yep.
9 left over the back. All the way out here at Gamma. 9, I'm guessing, is CT'd. Oh no, torsoed. Almost CT'd, and definitely a little bit weak on the torso there. And wow, all the players calling it GG's because Vile have just 4-0'd this.
Yeah, they just played so well. I think that
Wow.
this game, DSC had a chance. I think that if they had picked that fleet, not getting that fleet when you bring 2 streak mechs like that, and you get that ambush off, you just can't. You're not. It's so hard from there. Like that was the purpose of those mechs.
That's the strat. Yeah, the strat is essentially dropped, right, or missed there because of that one kill.
Yeah.
Like not that everything hinged on it, but strat wise, but a lot relied on that with 2 streak mechs from
Some
DSC.
Celebratory shots going in the air right as the game ends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Well played, Devile. Honestly, they just just a class of their own this year. Clearly, I mean, these games were exceptional for them.
I would even say DSC played bad. It's just compared to Vile.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Damage numbers quickly here on the the Vile side very quickly. Chimera there, 833, living that entire game up in that little perch, just sending damage when there's 3 mechs in his vicinity and 2 mechs trading against him as well. Very, very good. Lizzie, 469 going in and picking apart what was left for the scraps. On the DSC side, 9 there with 583 in the Exi, and then a bunch of 400s there from DSC, so getting out a lot of damage as well, just not turning it into kills.
Yeah, I think the streaks, it was a cool idea. It just didn't pan out for them.
All right, map strat drawing time, guys. What happened there? Just while I find the guys, hopefully they're coming over for a bit of a chat and an interview shortly.
I am a little disappointed that the streak traps did not work, just because it would be hilarious.
It was honestly, that was, in my opinion, that was their best strat. Like, I really liked that strat, especially given that they were Team 1. I think it had a lot of potential, and you saw the potential of it. But they just weren't quite able to capitalize and, like, actually make it work. I think if they had picked that flea, they would have won this drop. No doubt in my mind they would have won this drop if they picked that flea when it got trapped between the 2 streak mechs. So, cool strat. Good try from DSC, but Vile just really, really played exceptionally in all 4 of those drops. So DSC's strat was to have a Huntsman with streaks and ER large kind of hiding on Sigma, denying it with ER large, and potentially catching something with streaks. A Kid Fox hiding on FC to again gank an ultralight that goes for FC, and then play heavily on the Kappa side and get Kappa. So they rotated their bigs, kind of let what I talked about before the match, like this, which I think this was correct. I think that's the best thing you can do with your bigs, and you prevent from getting split this way. Vile, I think they had a Storm Rhino like down here. And then obviously Chimera was going to jump up. He ended up kind of getting stuck. He eventually climbed back up on this crystal, but he definitely was intending to go here. This is a better spot and can still see towards Kappa and will have better cover and everything. It's way safer. But even so, not being able to get there, he was still fine, tugging himself in that pocket, and the Viper alone couldn't contest him. And DSC didn't have anything else to send up there to kill him. So when the Shadowcat jumped up to protect him, then he was completely safe. And so he actually had great lines in the Sigma, so it ended up in a way being better for him, because he could shoot mechs that were trying to fight on Sigma in the late game. But
do you want to draw what happened when the
the flea.
Fleas, not the poor fleas, the very lucky the Irish, the leprechaun there, right? With the luck of the Irish for the fleas there. Goodness me.
So the flea pushed over Theta after getting it, looking for that Sigma cap, and MPG kind of baited that to the flea to think that it was safe. He actually kind of fell off towards Echo 6, making it look like he was running away. And then once the flea got further in, he came back to kind of trap the flea and force it to not run back towards Theta. The flea thought it was okay to run all the way through FC, but it shouldn't have been, because there was a Kid Fox with streaks waiting there. But Kid Fox just on the low ground when the flea goes on the high ground and it tucks in this corner here, and it's just able to get away, just barely. But from there, it's really tough because they know where all your mechs are, because it spotted the Kid Fox, right? And so Vile can just make the easy call like, hey, there's these streak mechs that are going to struggle to skirmish with us. Let's go take Epsi. Let's just keep range and bully these streak mechs. And honestly, DSC made a good move to bring all their lights back. I think it was okay to do that. They had two options of either push this side or bring all their lights back. They chose to bring everything back to Epsi, and they won that fight just in time. But then the Kodiak, they just don't have anything to deal with the Kodiak because they have these streak mechs. Like, if those were traditional lights, they could have killed the Kodiak, but because they're streak mechs, they can't. Right?
The big Kodiak just rolls on in here, and then, two of those two streak mechs and two other mechs for DSC were quite weak, and when you're barreling people with 4 AC-10s, ER peeps, the lights aren't going to last.
Yeah.
There was just no way to kill it. I think it was MPG or someone tried to jump behind the Kodiak and get the butt shots, but also there was another mech coming from the Vile side to support the Kodiak in the end, so it didn't quite work out as they probably would have hoped.
Yep, I think that, again, I know I've said it many times, but I just have to give full credit about it. They look so strong in these drops. Like, I definitely think that DSC as the second place team here looked decently strong themselves. I think stronger than prior years, but of the grand finals. But like Vile just blew it out of the water. Great strats, great calls, great shooting, and just expertly played.
Yep. Now, can we drag these guys down here for the interview? Because I don't have, G doesn't have any access.
I do not. We're gonna have to go up there.
Okay.
Okay. Well.
Or actually,
no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that, just in case.
Straight through.
I can drag. Do you want me to drag him in?
Oh yeah, if you can do it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go do that.
Oh, there we go. Oh, he's got access. Cool.
Welcome.
Hello, guys.
G'day, guys.
Yeah, very well played.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, thank you for the cast, guys.
Very well
that's
played.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but
Yeah, unfortunately, I have not had time to watch it, but I'm sure it was great.
Busy.
I'm sure it's
game.
great.
Well, firstly, congratulations to Val there. Very well
Thank you.
executed.
Yeah,
4-0. Very well executed compared to the times when you guys last met, a couple of weeks ago, and was decidedly different matches, I must say. So I guess DSC, commiserations to the loss there. How did you guys feel after last fortnight coming into today? What were you thinking? What did you practice? And
what I will say is that in our scrims leading up to the match, there was we had a bit of difficulties on our end, like a lot of like figuring stuff out, and for to quote Stem, we were having difficulties with like our signals and stuff, kind of running around in circles and like not having the most productive times. But that being said, we really cleaned it up in the drop before, or not drop, sorry, the scrim before the match. So, and that would have been yesterday. We felt pretty good going into it, with the exception of our north side bear claw strat. We felt kind of iffy on still. But yeah, I mean, going in today felt good. There was some like learning mistakes on our end, like on a player by player basis, mainly on a communication standpoint, just because we got a lot of Zoomers. So, yeah.
Well,
fair enough. Mr. Well, sorry, yeah, go, Jake, go.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, I think obviously going with confidence is good, and it's good to hear that you guys had that coming into it. Do you think that Vile just played exceptionally well, or do you think you guys made mistakes in these drops?
No, I think we made mistakes, like at a macro level. Like I think that Vile has their macro play down super well. Like they're really snappy on responses that we make, and today it felt like we were very sluggish on what we wanted to do and our responses to what Vile was doing.
Yeah.
Like we would eventually, if given time, know what exactly we could do, and of course in hindsight, but the lack of like calculating that in the moment and making it very, very clear and concise, like, yes, this is our response to what Vile is doing, was lacking today.
Yeah. So, I would actually want to just go through all 4 drops. There was only 4. I feel like we can talk about the ball and just kind of ask teams.
Yeah.
Both teams your thoughts on it. So in the first drop, Yeah, so the first drop on Frozen, I felt like the spider specifically just didn't really have a place in that drop deck because it seemed like you guys were doing an aggressive wrap on that the
Yes.
right side there, on the FC Gamma side. And the spider was kind of like, it hovered around Sigma, and I even called out during the cast, like, if this spider was like a streak mech or an ambush mech, it would kill this flea and they'd probably win the game. But the spider just kind of had to sit there and let them take Sigma. And then when that flea went back to the fight, yeah, sure, the spider grabs the back cap, but like, you're pushing and you're down a mech. So you got those, like, a gank on the mechs, getting pushed down to D5, the Vile mechs being pushed down to D5. You killed, I think it was Audius, and you have the Shadow Cat. But then you kind of stalled out. Chimera just getting free shots from Echo 4, and Lizzie peeking up and getting good shots. And you just, the spider's not really able to do anything. So, like, what was the thought behind bringing the spider in the deck?
Okay, so bringing the spider into the deck would always be like if in the event, like, we push with our aggressive trade that's coming from the city, and we realize in the moment that we should slow things down and reset, then we can have map control with the cap spider if the game is slowed down.
I see.
We pushed too aggressively, I would say, with our bigs on the city side, actually, and that was because I think it would have been what Chimera got across.
Yeah, he was in Echo 4.
Yeah, so he gets across. He takes some damage for it, but like overall, like he's not halved or anything, so he's still got all of his guns. And I think like in order to continue to make any sort of aggression, the executioner that's on that side has to be somehow disabled, whether it be like getting a pounce on it or just like trading it with such oppression that like it just can't do what it was doing. But neither of those things happened, and like again, our bigs on the city side, so that would have been me and the Mad Cat, and then and Annie and the Stone Rhino. Like we kind of just went too far up. Probably should have just like stayed in the buildings.
What was it like from your side, Chimera? Because it looked like you were just free farming.
Well, I can say, yeah. I mean, to start with, the spider kind of, because that was a tell for me that they weren't doing a full push, which is what we expected because they've only done pushes from that side. In all my experience, they've pushed, I think, us like 4 or 5 times, including ComQ maybe. So the spider was a tell that they weren't pushing, so we didn't actually play anti-push as effectively initially. Like I didn't cross immediately, which I would have if I had, been expecting to push still, but which that leaves taking a little bit more damage. But either way, it's once I'm crossed, if they can't pressure me, and I can just call every single movement, all their mechs the entire game, it's very difficult for the enemy team to do anything.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. I absolutely think that was a great play to cross, and you did a great job covering your mechs that were kind of getting beat up on. Like it looked pretty bad for Vile at first, because obviously you that Shadow Cat got halved, and you lost an assault mech, and you had a bunch of your mechs bunched on the low ground. But then you just kind of clawed it back by taking good smart trades and taking advantage of the fact that they were in the open and couldn't really deal with you.
Yeah, we just started beating them back
like,
one at a
the
time,
guys,
going individual targets.
Yeah.
Sorry. So like the guys that we did end up pushing on, they make like the good call too of like yeah, sure, they're faster mechs, they kind of like kick out a little bit, get away from the Delta 5 hill, but like they're slower guys that are still alive, rather than trying to cross the valley where like we could just continue to shoot them. They stayed flush to the west side of the Delta 5 mountain, so like in order to shoot them, we would have to expose to the executioner.
Yeah,
so that was like a really good.
Probably need to back off and just focus on the X and take it slow. So I'd just like to go to the next map, and that was HPG. And I want to say that, in my opinion, like this was a masterclass by Vile. I think Vile literally played perfectly, and it was really, really impressive to me as the caster watching this from Vile's perspective. I loved your drop deck. I loved how you played it. I loved all the moves you made. I loved the counter moves you made. It was just so solid, and it looked unbeatable. So what was it like from the DSC side playing against that on HPG?
Which drop specifically, or just HPG? Okay.
Yeah, HPG.
So for HPG, from the perspective of like the ramp executioner, like I've played that position for most of the season, if not like basically all of it, but in like varying mechs. I think I started out with an overcharge, and then we made an iteration for the executioner M because it has far better range. So playing from that position, and like hearing the comms and stuff, the initial like part of the game felt pretty like even, and actually even from like my perspective with just like the alpha peaking of 4ER large with the executioner and like double striking, I think it would have been Lizzie at the cover on the wall in the Stone Rhino, like things were feeling pretty good from the trade angle.
Interesting.
But I think, I mean, I of course don't want to like name any names or anything like that on our side, but I think that just our trade communication, like myself included, could have been better. Like I maybe could have amped up the aggression. Like I didn't realize how hurt Nian was, and like on like a certain peak, I could have maybe said something to the extent of like, "Oh, the Stone Rhino burned me," but there was a very specific peak where basically I came out, alphaed the Stone Rhino, and then it didn't shoot me, which like in the moment I thought was odd. And then the hindsight is, of course, I need to say like it didn't shoot me. This is like 100% a bait to try to have our direwolf. So
yeah, I gotcha.
The moment that our direwolf got halved, that's when it kind of changed from like feeling like we still had the trade game to we need to make something happen. Like the game was in our hands, and then like the 3-cap and all that stuff. And it felt very, very difficult to do anything. There was a part where I thought about taking my XE. You probably saw it on the in the play-by-play of the match itself. So I jumped up onto the wall, and I was gonna take like a continuous angle to pressure the traders I knew were hurt on the wall, but then there was a call to have me go over to Delta 4. So like I had to double back.
Yeah, gotcha. So Kyber, from your perspective, because again, this strat just seemed really, really strong. Can you walk me through like the idea behind that strat exactly, and like why you chose the mechs you did, and then that play that DSC tried to make with their lights to gank Lizzie and Kong? Can you kind of go over like when did you scout that, and were you worried about it at all? Like your player, I thought you guys played excellently and countering it.
No, that was, I mean, literally like wall ganks are the only real concern on HVG. Like it's difficult to spot them perfectly. We had enough advanced warning, not much, but we had enough advanced warning to react accordingly. But part of that, I mean, the biggest factor there is you saw in one of the previous games, we overreacted on HPG. I ended up by myself getting farmed by like 3 guys, whatever, on Theta. So this time we made the adjustment that I kept someone near me, you know, so I don't get farmed for free.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because we can freely, if I'm there and we have that Blackhawk there, we're completely safe against whatever lights were around Theta, the Jenner and the Kit Fox, whatever. So we were just able to run everyone else back there and feel completely confident in that.
Yeah, the UAC 5 Bull Shark in that spot just seems so strong. Go ahead, Buzzer.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth in the Bull Sharks, but that thing was that's too strong, honestly.
I just want to add in that it really comes down to like our lights. It's something we've planned for a lot and set up like leading into the match with practice is like we need to figure out, okay, well, here's where they can come, because HPG is a very linear map, right?
Yeah.
That's a very linear map, and if you don't know that, you should. So there's not many different ways you can like take angles on that map, if that makes sense what I'm saying. So you have lights look at the wall, you have lights look down low, you make sure Theta is all good to go, you're done. You just keep up your scouting, and it's very linear in that regard. So it basically it really just comes down to our lights using their eyes. So
yeah, I don't want to just dominate the interview. So yeah, go ahead, Ash. I was gonna say you and
I was
should
just gonna say Kong was very good at that both games against DSC 2 weeks ago and again this week. Like straight away, he was right. It was noticeable. Like he's right on it both times. Again, communication, obviously doing what his role is and meant to be doing in that Shadowcat. It was really, really good.
Well, it's also important. One guy can't cover all the angles, but if you have my Incubus up there, which we did as well, you just cover everything with the 2 mechs up there. It's very important to have those guys scouting on the wall like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
run us, if you, back to the DSC side, you want to run us through what was going on with Bog and the Team 1. That was something that we all had a question of as the casters. Bog, Team 1. What was the thought process there to sort of come to that conclusion, or what was your strat? What were you trying to do? Was it all hinging around that spider on Theta or not?
So, as the same as like the previous match, we wanted to do control just like last time. Oh wait, give me just 1 second, guys.
Go ahead and ask Chimera then, or Chimera and Bowser. Sorry. Yeah, I really liked your box setup. I definitely think Team 2 has a massive favor, and I loved the bringing of the beam lasers to deny Theta. You seemed like it was just a perfect counter to what DSC wanted to do. Just grab that early Theta cap.
Correct.
Your positions are perfect.
Yeah, we worked on that a lot, trying to figure out the best lights for Theta, the best builds.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Yeah, and I love
It's
I love
like
your
it hap-
positions. Yeah.
It's like it happens just the first time. All right, it will never happen again.
Yeah, and that was just such a great adaptation, because that was my criticism of your last blog, was that, like, this fight, how did it get Theta? You have like 3 mechs there, but this time no shenanigans, not letting that happen. I loved that you cleaned that up. And after that, what was can you talk me through, because I called that, I thought that you had a drop caller making this call to, oh, okay, they're all Theta, let's just grab Epsi. But was that like a singular call from like Chimera or you, or was it like just you just naturally floated up there?
It's just natural. Like, as soon as we see that heavy commitment Theta, we can't really get Theta. We scrape the spider legs really hard, but that's really irrelevant at the end of the day. So if they can still get Theta, then you just play for Epsi. And once we saw that they had multiple assaults, I mean, we had 1 low ground assault from them by Theta in the water, and then either way, all 3 were that side. So it's an easy swap to move towards Epsi. It's difficult to hold Epsi from this side, pretty difficult, but it's doable. So.
And to add on to that, I think it's very important to realize something is where both sides playing this match, they are playing with a cap spider. We know as soon as we see that spider and we see what he's trying to do, okay, A, it's a cap spider, B, they're down a guy, insta.
Yeah.
We're playing the game 7 versus 8 as far as shooting goes, and we can abuse that to be way more aggressive and get way more influence on the map, which is exactly what we did.
Yeah, it looked really, really good. I loved your movements. So, Hall, now that you're back, what was the thought of taking Team 1? You were just banking on getting Theta with the spider, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, our main goal with the entire strategy was massive like cap control with like a big focus towards Theta, and then we had like, this is kind of going back towards like our discussions leading up to this match. There was a lot of like opinions and back and forth on like what we should do if then sort of thing, and one of the things that we should have done in the hindsight is like, after taking Theta and knowing that like they're gonna counter rotate and like go and take Epsi, because like that is like what they should do in that situation, is like, okay, yeah, they can't get Theta, like get the easier cap and like get the 3 cap, is like we make some sort of committal play to like catch something that's slower on the Sigma side, right? Like we push past Theta with like our faster mechs, get a catch or something, because I know you guys had like a trader on like the Echo 7. I'm doing this like off the top of my head. Your guys' spawn shelf, there was like an ER large trader that was there at one point. You could definitely
the
like
high spot
push
and I'm
that.
playing D7, yeah.
And it all comes down to like decisiveness, because it like there's a lot of clutter in our comms and like deciding ultimately like, okay, what do we do here in response to them taking Epsi? And our response is eventually like, okay, we'll just match it. But of course, like the call comes too slow, and it's just overall like, we got to be snappier, more in sync on the response to Vile's like counter to our strategy.
Yeah, you guys, I felt like I was you'll rewatch it and see, it felt like you guys have got 60 seconds and Vile are nearly 90 seconds ahead of where you're going, kind of thing. Like Vile already know, they've already moved from that entire Theta side, stacked the high ground, the middle shelf E5, Delta 5. Yeah, you could tell there was a bit of do we, don't we? And then by the time it's okay, yeah, we do it, Vile's kind of like, hey, we're already here, we're waiting. We know you're coming.
One thing I gotta ask for Chimera and Bowser here is, how surprised did you feel by DSC's strats? Because it felt like for a lot of
Not at all.
Like I would say, except for Terra, it felt like you just had their number the whole game.
We were
felt like
surprised they
genuinely
didn't
surprised.
bring more new things.
Yes, we were genuinely surprised. We
were
them
prepared.
to
I was going with my pep talk every game, saying, "Hey guys, be ready for everything. Watch these sides, watch these angles, watch these grids, whatever." I was saying that like on Bog the whole game. Watch the low water, watch this, watch that, and then just we weren't surprised in the end.
In fact, in almost every game, we played very conservatively, expecting something completely new that we hadn't seen before.
I could tell,
even though we know most games are coming in 7 versus 8. As soon as we see that spider, we know it's a 7 versus 8 match, but we just have to play conservatively. We're just expecting anything from these guys.
Yeah, so
interesting.
Terra last, and this was definitely in my opinion, you guys probably should have lost this drop as Vile with your fleet should have gotten picked. But I'm not sure. You probably didn't even realize that because you guys weren't there. But your fleet actually got trapped and between two streak mechs, and definitely should have gone down. Managed to squeak out and get away, and maybe you still win that drop, but it definitely would have been very, very close. But what were your thoughts on that drop deck? Because it looks like your Bull Shark wanted to get up to the F6 spot, right? I talked about it in the cast. I used it against you guys in a scrim.
Yeah.
And you kind of got contested by a Viper because the Bull Shark's a bit slower than something like the Xe.
Well, as soon as the Viper is there, I knew I couldn't get to that spot safely because even if I do get there, he can just jump on me at any moment, and it's very awkward. So I figured I would just take the shot, get some leg damage on him, force him off, and then potentially move back F7 if the match went that way. Obviously, it didn't. They shifted their weight towards me instead. So
yeah.
And then it became me stalling, yelling at them to kill everything else while I have like 3 guys on me the entire game.
But what were your comms like when it was like, oh, okay, your fleet is kind of trapped in the back line, almost gets caught, and then you do this push on FC, and then more mechs come, and then your Kodiak just kind of like cleans up because I mean they have these streak mechs, they can't really do much against Kodiak. Like what were the comms? It was
really they were calling targets over there, but it was really just calling to basically deathball and kill whatever they could that side because we knew some of their mechs were very hurt. I knew they were strung out because I had seen the Shadowcat and the Huntsman very spread out, like towards Sigma, way behind everything else. So our push was slow. Our push was not very good. Well, it could have been better, but it still worked out. So.
And Hall, from your side, what were the comms like when you didn't catch that flea? Like I'm sure it was called that it was coming, right?
This would have been over towards was this like on Epsi side?
Like Echo 8.
Like the complete opposite
so
side,
you had a streak
yeah, okay.
Kitfox on Epsi, and you had a streak Huntsman and Delta 8 to the right of Sigma. And the fleet ran through Echo 8 and got past both to get back on the Theta. Was there no comms for that?
One moment to pull up the map. No, there definitely was. There was a lot of talk about... Hang on. I just need to get Terra Therma pulled up on my end. Red Echo 8. Okay. So... as far as the comms go for like the Echo 8 like flee, the specifics of that, like I actually would have to like reference the VODs for it, but because like I mean there was so many like different voices and things going on, and I was mainly focused on listening to like what Nian and Annie were up to with the Bull Shark and stuff, and then the whole realization of we needed to like break out for caps and whatnot.
It was a pretty chaotic drop for sure.
Yeah, it was very, very chaotic. So that flee after it gets away from Echo 8, is that when it like gets over to Sigma and caps it? Or is that like
no, like way earlier, way earlier.
Way earlier. Okay.
You'll have to watch
like
back.
Had a sandwich.
Yeah, I think I recall.
Going. Yeah, like
I recall Stim talking about there being a large presence towards Epsi, and there was like an incoming fight to that, and by that being the point of the game, like we already have our assaults over on like the west side of the map.
Yeah, it was before that.
Like, so Kappa, and so like my comms to them are basically like, whatever happens on Epsi is like, it's kind of the decider of the match. Like it's very important that whatever happens at Epsi goes into our favor, because otherwise we're gonna have to start doing like some really like unorthodox stuff to try to recover the game. Like in no like scrim or anything like that, after I push Kappa in that Bull Shark, have I ever like had to just like do a 180 and go and like try to take Sigma. Like it's very strange to do.
Yeah, do you think that was the right call? You think maybe you could have just pressed forward earlier and tried to kill
I should have done it faster even, to be honest. Because I, over in Echo 5, like, I mean, I'm still relatively speaking new to, like, comps, so thinking in the moment on, like, the game state and stuff is still, like, a developing thing for me. The mech that's over in Sigma, the Flea, and stuff like that, like, I should have been on it a lot quicker. There was some like idle time that I had in Echo 5, like thinking like, okay, what can I do to like maximize my impact on this game? Because like I'm slow, I'm 51 kph, so whatever I gotta do is extremely committal. So I'm hearing comms about like this Kodiak that's like on Theta. There's talk of like, you know, pushing it and killing it and stuff like that. And so there's like really two things that I could do in the position of Echo 5 where like Kappa's not really the win con anymore. They're like Vile's not entertaining Kappa at all. They don't need to, so I need to do something else. So I either go to Sig and stop that Cap, or I go to Theta and kill whatever's on Theta because like I'm fresh, and I can do that. I end up choosing Sigma and then getting like surrounded by lights and the Bull Shark, which like whether or not it's like the correct thing to do, I'm not sure. Like hindsight's 2020, of course, but like we have at the end of the game, Nian is like flying up to the spire on Fox 6. If she makes it all the way up there, she may stop the Bull Shark, like maybe even kill it before it can like just start shooting my back for free because I have to respect the lights that are surrounding me.
Yeah, I think at that point the game was kind of over though, because you just didn't have any lights left.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ash and Teos, do you have any other questions? I actually have a couple of questions I want to ask these guys that are not exactly on the maps,
I
but
think it's pretty clear cut, open shut. So feel free to ask whatever you want. I'm just here for vibes.
I have questions unrelated to the matches themselves.
yeah, I actually did too. So go ahead, Ash.
Big one for me. How much of an effect? Because it was a pretty, I guess, a bit of a flurry the last couple of weeks with the Bull Sharks coming and the fact that you could bring 2 of them. I guess maybe Vile first. Like, how did that sort of go through your minds, and then we'll go to the DSC side. Like, what was the discussions within the team, sort of thing, or what you can share, I guess, and the thoughts and practices were like, oh shit, do we need to really practice this a lot really quickly just in case, or not so much?
Maybe even
It's Vile's turn, right?
Yeah.
I was
Anybody
talking.
brought a 4 or a Mako?
Repeat the question.
I'm sorry, what was that? I was on a phone call.
Go ahead.
So the Bull Shark, how much of a factor, the fact that you could bring 2 of them as well, what factor and impacts did that have in the last couple of weeks for you with tournaments, practices, what was going on internally in the team and stuff like that?
It was interesting. We explored it heavily. The Mako is good, not great. Like this last drop on, Terra was the last drop. On Terra, we opted for the Kodiak over the Mako, but either works fine. Like the Mako is a good mech. It's not, 2 of them isn't overpowering. There is the advantage of course, having 2 identical physical models, so callouts will be incorrect sometimes, whatever. But we weren't considering that to be significant, so we weren't going to force 2 Bull Sharks like every game, when it's not necessary.
That makes complete sense. I definitely do think that.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm in agreement with Chimera on the Mako. It's good. It's not great. I think the AC-10s being so spread apart makes its convergence at anything past like a certain range just terrible. And it just, it has way more armor than a Kodiak does, but the Kodiak has superior agility and convergence of its AC-10s. So like a pilot with good aim should be using a Kodiak over a Mako. And as far as that goes, like with just the Bull Shark in general, to explain it, like we have to like go way back. So when it was announced and its date of like MC release and all that came out, I knew I had to buy it because for the game that we played prior to this one and this game, I knew that Bull Sharks were going to be viable, and like for that, or were going to be allowed, and for that reason alone, I had to buy it because as one of the assault pilots of DSC, I needed to like play it a lot, see how good it was, get a general feel of it. The conclusion of all of the time that I played like Bull Sharks leading up to these matches was that the Bull Shark 6 is amazing. The 2, even though we didn't use it, is very good. Like the like 6 ER large with like backups and like high speed and stuff, maybe even like go a bit slower for standard heatsink build is like, there's a lot of potential in that in that mech. So yeah, I'd say it did have a heavy effect on us for these last weeks, but I prepared for it, like knowing that it was going to be allowed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, cool.
Can I ask a few questions very directed at Chimera and Bowser because they were the winners. If you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
one of
What
the
are you
things.
gonna do with the money?
Please no.
I already spent it.
So I have to say, before this CS, I have to admit I would not recognize every player on your roster. But in these games, like all of them look top tier, and you guys as a whole just looked great. How much scouting and training of Palace did you do throughout this year? Like, was that a big factor, or what?
I mean, I've always been very critical of players in EMP. When I was doing recruitment, I was overly critical. Like, I rejected a lot of people that ended up being good later on. But this year, the first thought there was bringing in the necessary number of people. Because, I mean, we backed out of the BFM, I think it was 77 League. We backed out of that because we didn't have enough players to play that. So I knew I had to recruit, like, easily 5, 6, 7 more people, which is what I did. So I mean, I just looked over everything we could. We had, like Deus was someone who I had played with before with Lizzie and the Russian teams. Like a few of these people we knew somewhat before, and then just gave them the chance in CompQ especially to kind of show if they can keep up.
Yeah, Ash pointed this out early on. Self not being there, and again, yet you
he's
still
not
looked
playing right now.
You looked super strong, anyways. Like. You clearly did a great job. I'm not sure how much actual training you put into these pallets, but they looked like top level. I mean, I couldn't even tell the difference.
No, there was a lot of work put in as far as like Seleth brings a lot beyond just the straight shooting. So we had to kind of scramble a little bit these last few weeks because we didn't actually know he wasn't going to be here for sure until like a few weeks ago.
Okay.
He had mentioned something, but we didn't know for sure. So we had to scramble a bit to kind of cover his roles because he's always been someone who plays very independently, very much doing his own thing, and he knows what he's doing. So we had to kind of reverse engineer some of the things he was doing. But
I mean, let's make it very clear. I played most of Seleth's max. I basically just filled right in for Seleth.
yeah,
I'm normally
Bowser was Seleth today. He was
play.
filling his shoes.
Yeah.
Well, that means somebody
But
filled
I
in for
took
you.
over
They did great. Like, I mean, you can't argue with the results, right?
Yes, well, I mean,
Absolutely.
we had Dubix. He's a reliable
Absolutely.
filler. You know, we had these people that we know we can depend on.
And I
So
can
it
attest.
wasn't that big of a deal.
Dubik's a great palette. I always love to see new or less known talent getting the chance to deserve to shine. So I was just really happy to see that. You brought in some names that I recognize.
He made himself clear pretty early when we were practicing and in CompQ and stuff. He was very obviously a good pick for Lights, so we've kept him. He's probably played, I think, more CompQ than anybody else for our team actually.
Love to see it.
I mean, Leprechaun proved he came in to win. We didn't even really know, like, coming into it. And then we were like, yeah, play this. And then he proved that he's here to win. So,
yeah, I love to see it. I love to see it. How strong did you feel you were going into this? Especially, like, I mean, you said it wasn't really much of a problem for you, but you knew you didn't have Seleth. You knew it was like there was mistakes on both sides, but it was pretty close drops. You probably were worried about some weird strats. Like, but how strong did you feel your team as a whole, as people that have played this game basically since the beginning? There's lots of talks about, like, obviously, like, old EMP when it was LAN and more money on the line probably was, the strongest in the game. But in general, to me, you looked exceptional today. So how strong do you think your team was?
We played well. There's still clear things I would improve and work on and fix, and some of that is just due to certain people. Just naturally, people will have different strengths in a match. Some people have better communication. Some matches you might wish you had someone here who could have communicated this in a different way, whatever the case, Like, I'm not gonna say we're not one of the best, like, 2-3 teams of all time for sure. No chance. Like, every MP roster, every MP team I played with was better than this team. I would say overall, because we had played together so long, most of us. Mm-hmm. That's a significant factor. Is everyone's used to each other. Everyone knows their comfort zones. Playing with half a new roster effectively, like we're kind of half the old Avens from last year and then half new players. So there's a lot to work around there, and still, like, some discomfort, of course, because we haven't actually played together that long, really. But those of us that know each other well, me and Bowser, obviously, like, there's just pure comfort there. So it kind of balances out. I'd say we could easily play better than this for sure, given more time.
absolutely. And again, we're missing a core player in a critical role that we had to fill within 2-3 weeks notice, if not less.
Yes, so it does make a large difference for sure.
I would describe our roster today as dramatically weaker without him. So
yeah, it makes sense. But I mean, you could have fooled me. You guys looked great. You looked so strong.
Absolutely. I mean, we obviously we're coming into, like, because I'm basically thinking to myself, okay, well, I have to become this guy. And that's what I did. I became the guy.
We knew we wouldn't have him at this point, so we did everything we could to fill in those gaps.
I'm going to be honest. You can always say, like, oh, opposition was weaker, so that's why we look strong. But to me, HBG in specific, you guys looked like truly like EMPable. Like, that was played perfectly in my mind. Like, on that map specifically, you guys looked perfect. I was blown away by how clean that was. Like from the strats to the moves.
I think that was our most comfortable drop, probably.
Yeah, it was just
HPG. We don't, I don't enjoy that map, but it's a very straightforward map to play. It's all about scouting and awareness, and not being caught off guard by these side pushes and the the lights rushing your assault, whatever the case. So that map, it was just a matter of, like, the last game, we knew, we won. I think we won 2 drops on it in the last series. No, or just one.
2 drops.
We played it twice. Yeah, we played it twice.
Yeah.
And there were some clear issues there still. They're pretty obvious if you watch the matches. So we just fixed those. So
yeah, makes sense. I think that's about everything for me. You, Ash and Tios, do you have anything to talk about? Anything you want to ask?
Good.
Oh, I've got most of my questions. Yeah.
Well, I just want to personally thank both teams for playing, and I mean the community as well. The reason why we're still having a CS with this game as old as it is, because people watch, buy the TSP, play the game. You guys are all great. I love you guys, and even though it was the 4-0,
thanks for the season.
Still great grand final here. You guys played.
I mean, DSC is obviously a fantastic opponent. The matches were much closer than it looked, I would say, especially a couple of those for sure. And I mean, shit, thank you to the casters as well. So,
yeah, thank you for the cast, guys. It's a great job.
Yep.
No, thank you.
Awesome.
It's been fun. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys, there for the interview. And I guess we'll start to round out the last match of the tournament and everything. Awesome.
I think of the year. I don't think ISC is starting until January.
Nothing left.
We need a break.
Yeah. This is the last match, the last
Yeah.
thing for 2024. So yeah.
I can't even actually remember the precise week that we started practicing for this, because I mean, at least in my case, I have a lot of ground to cover to reach the same level as the older comp pilots, right? Because they've got so much experience. They already know, baked into their minds, these if-then situations, right? It was a blast to get better over the course of the season, and if I end up playing more, then I'll take that with me.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good to hear.
Beautiful.
Glad you guys had fun. I definitely felt like the vibes on both teams are good. So.
Yeah, that's what you want. As long as the team's gelling and having fun, man, that's what playing MWO is about. At the end of the day, or video games, anything in general, if you're not having fun, well, you need to look at why you're doing it, I guess. And yeah, as long as the teams are all having fun, that's the main aim. You improve together, learn together, have fun together. Yeah, I guess unless Tios, you got anything else, we can round it out.
I think we're good.
Right here.
That's it, yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you guys all, everyone for tuning in. Some pretty high numbers. Someone's saying some of the highest numbers in a year or two for casting. Hopefully that's true. Hopefully everyone did enjoy the casting this final season. I know a bunch of us worked pretty hard to get a really good product out there. But of course, without all of the teams showing up and playing some really damn good matches, we've got absolutely nothing to cast. So thank you very much for all the teams showing up and putting on a jolly good show this final series. Again, also thank you to MWO Comp and PGI for supporting and putting all the stuff on, the prizes, all that sort of shit. And all of the viewers and the community out there, thank you very much from there as well. There is a lot of people asking for the free mech code in the chat. It is not working right now, so I imagine there will be an announcement on the MWO Comp Discord about that, or something somewhere later on. And
I'll get it
usually
fixed, and then I'll have it probably put up on Monday instead of just going for the weekend. It'll just go for the week. Stay tuned, folks. The code and the code will go up in the announcements channel here.
beautiful.
Tios' job never ends.
It never ends on a weekend, damn it.
It's
man.
hard to poke somebody on the weekend about a code not running. So sorry, folks, and it'll come out soon. You will get your free mech, I promise.
And someone normally posts the code on Reddit and other places as well. So it shouldn't be too hard to find when it does get fixed on the Monday in the North American time zone. Otherwise, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Have a very safe and happy festive season, whatever you are getting up to. And maybe some of us casters will be around next year and do some more and ISC in January.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I need a break.
Incredible. I know, right? Awesome. Thank you very much. We will see you all later. Goodbye.